23 degrees here at Arrowhead in Kansas City. The Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, the third member of our crew. We say Merry Christmas to Jenny Dell.
Kevin, call it the Arrowhead advantage. 3 straight home games. They won the first 2, and as you guys mentioned, they're looking for their second straight AFC West title. Now, head coach Andy Reid said, we haven't solidified anything yet, so we need to stay focused and take care of business. Now, for the Dolphins, Coach Gase told me his biggest concern is consistency. He said when the team gets off to a rocky start, they lose composure. So, guys, while the Dolphins look to find a rhythm, the Chiefs hope to use home field advantage in their favor.
Great stuff, Jenny. Thank you very much. 8-6 Kansas City. Dolphins at 6-8. Rich, on cold days like this, when you played, what were your biggest concerns?
Scoring fast and getting the lead.
Right.
I mean, honestly, you can't worry about the weather. You know, as Jenny points out, this is a team that has had some slow starts. They've had one opening drive touchdown in their last 17 games. In fact, Kevin, no first quarter touchdowns in their last 4. They've got to get off to a good start.
Jakeem Grant will take it about the 1-yard line. He has had a good month, and here he goes, the opening kickoff, and we are underway with a hit on the play made by the Chiefs on a 26-yard return. Leagueway makes the hit. There's a look at quarterback Jay Cutler making his 13th start for the Dolphins today. Last week against Buffalo, Rich, 3 picks. Week before, 3 touchdowns against New England.
Well, he struggled last week in the cold weather. He put the ball on the ground 4 times, and we talked to Jay Cutler and head coach Adam Gase last night about that. He said the balls were slick. Curious to see what he does today. Again, you cannot turn the football over against this Kansas City defense.
In the last 4 games, he's gone 59% with his completion percentage with 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. To the air on 1st and 10, and underneath he goes, and caught by Kenny Stills. Hit on the play by Peters and others. A gain of 9. He's up to the 36-yard line. With Bushrod going on IR, Jesse Davis moves from tackle to guard. Sam Young starts again at right tackle. Pouncey played well last week in Buffalo at center. And second-year running back Kenyon Drake has been terrific after the trade of Ajayi and the injury to Damian Williams. And here's a run on 2nd and 1. The aforementioned Drake with Ragland bringing him down, and also Zombo. It's a first down. He's up to the 43-yard line. On the line, Chris Jones picking up steam, a sack in each of his last 2 games. Very disruptive. Miami quarterback Jay Cutler told us yesterday that linebacker Justin Houston is the top concern of the Dolphin offense today. 9 sacks for him. Marcus Peters continues to play well with 2 picks last week. 1st and 10, Cutler. And Drake, a high pick out of Alabama, slithers his way out to the 47, and Rich picks up 4 on first down, so some no huddle by the Dolphins to begin here.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. Make it difficult for defensive coordinator Bob Sutton to dial up those pressures and make substitutions. Good look at Adam Gase. I think he does a good job with his personnel usage, his formations. He does a terrific job trying to get a bead on what the defensive coordinator is going to do, how they're going to match up against their personnel on offense.
Gase, as you all know, had Cutler as a quarterback in Chicago, and then brought him in when Tannehill went down with a knee injury in camp. 2nd down and 6. There's a good block there by Young, and a nice catch is made on a dive by Parker, and they're waving it away, and it's incomplete. Parker playing with a bad ankle. He had limited time in practice this week on the incompletion. It'll be 3rd and 6.
It's a good route. He's got the separation from Marcus Peters. It's just a bad throw by Cutler. And one hops that one into Devontae Parker. Play action has actually been pretty effective for the Dolphins the last 3 weeks.
A.J. Derby is atop your screen. He's the tight end. 3rd down and 6. They put Thomas on IR this week, the tight end, and he is out for the next 2 games. Cutler, outside he goes, caught by Landry. And the ball was loose. Bobbled, and let's see what they rule. And the conversation, as you can see, the Chiefs have got the ball, and Peters has come up with it. What a play. They review every turnover. They'll obviously look at that, but Peters has been a turnover machine, with Landry taking it initially here.
Well, just watch the hit from Derek Johnson. He's the one that knocks it loose, and it just falls right into the hands of, who else? Marcus Peters, who was responsible for 3 takeaways last week in the win over the Chargers. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
It was a football move, as you can see, the big hit, and Rich just said it, by the terrific 13-year linebacker Derek Johnson.
Boy, Marcus Peters, he just has the unique ability to take the ball away. And that's really been the difference. You say, well, what's been the biggest reason for the turnaround in Kansas City the last couple of weeks? It's been the takeaways. 7 takeaways against the Raiders and the Chargers.
The ruling on the field of a fumble with recovery by Kansas City is under review.
I guess they're going to see if his feet were in bounds.
So he was close to the boundary when that ball came out. He's in the left part of your screen. Just question is whether he stays in. You see the hit. It dislodges the ball, and now the ball pops up. Now you got to see whether or not he's able to keep both feet in the field of play.
Landry's 4th fumble of the year, 2nd lost fumble. Timeout. They reviewed it, and it was indeed a clear fumble recovery inbounds in front of that Miami sideline by Marcus Peters on a fumble by Landry. They take over at the 45. Smith on 1st and 10. Quick slant. Grabbed on the play. Albert Wilson, 30th catch of the season. 11-yard pickup down to the 44 of Miami. Smith has thrown just 1 pick in the last 3 games. Rich, 5 all season long, closing in on 4,000 yards.
Yeah, I think his best quality, Kevin, he's a great decision maker. Rarely does he make the critical error. He refuses to turn the ball over. As I said, he's thrown a league low 5 interceptions. And it's been that way since he came to Kansas City 5 seasons ago.
Dolphins have 5 in the secondary. The fake to Hunt. It goes outside. Wilson again. Good move. Runner can't bring him down. Then knocked out of bounds by the Pro Bowler Jones. 13-yard catch and run. Albert Wilson, heard from early, had 5 catches against Oakland a couple weeks ago.
Just watch the action and then watch the reaction from the corner. I mean, as soon as he sees the run, he vacates. And now all of a sudden, look at how wide open the receiver is. All because of the play action at the line of scrimmage.
Chiefs now put the right tackle Schwartz on the left side as they operate from the pistol with a 1st and 10. The pitch. 2nd leading rusher in the NFL, Hunt. And Kareem Hunt will take it down inside the 20. Hit on the play by Jones. Whacked by Werner. Picks up 10 on the play. The center is Zach Fulton. He has made a difference in the run game. Andy Reid told us a big body replacing the injured Mitch Morse. We just saw the rookie running back Kareem Hunt. He's rushed for over 100 yards, 2 straight games for over 1,200 on the season. The 2nd leading running back on the ground rushing in the NFL. Drive began back at the 45. Wilson with a couple catches of 11 and 13.
Mike, run! Run! 59, Mike, run! 35. Wide, AD! Mike, run!
Oh, looked like Sue, free play. Unless he was induced.
I think that's going to be on Miami.
Neutral zone infraction, number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
You know, Alex Smith does a terrific job changing up his cadence and his snap count. You watch the film, he gets a couple defensive linemen to jump each week. And Ndamukong Suh, if you study Ndamukong Suh, he's got a tendency to try and jump the snap count. You've got to be able to change up the snap count and keep him off balance. You don't want number 93 to get off to a good start.
It's 1st down and 5. Hill in motion, jet sweep, looking for a block from Kelsey. And there's Jones, the Pro Bowler, to usher him out of bounds. Ran it well. Jones did, losing a yard on the play, and the jet sweep was Hill. Defensively on the line, and Ndamukong Suh continues to be a force, a defensive tackle, disruptive. If he gets going, trouble for the Chiefs. Played better this season than last. Kiko Alonso plays a lot of snaps, leads the Dolphin D in tackles. The secondary has that lone Pro Bowler in Rashad Jones going for a 2nd time. Howard picked off Tom Brady twice in the Dolphin secondary 2 weeks ago. 2nd down and 6. And there's a run by Hunt. And smothered as he gets inside the 15-yard line with a gain of 3. Hit on the play by a couple, including Devon Godchaux.
Well, if you're Kansas City, you better have a plan for how you're going to account for Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake. I mean, these two are a handful. They're both 5-time Pro Bowlers for a reason. You look at Ndamukong Suh. I've seen him take guards and centers and just simply throw them like rag dolls. I mean, he is a handful. He gets a lot of double teams. And Andy Reid told us on Friday, you've got to go after him early. and let them know it's going to be that kind of day.
On. Rip. Wide, DD. I said.
In the nickel, 3rd down and 3 for Smith. One hops his receiver, incomplete, looking for Wilson. There was coverage on the play by Alteron Werner.
Well, that's one Alex Smith would like to have back. He was kind of in between what to do, whether to throw the swing route or set his feet, reset his eyes, and make a good, accurate throw. He's a rhythm passer, and when he's not in rhythm, he's got a tendency to miss those type of throws.
Well, we know the Chiefs struggle on 3rd down. They're 31st in the NFL in that category. Here is a 31-yard field goal try by Harrison Butker. He has been magnificent this season, 31 of 34. And he'll try a 31-yarder here, and he puts the Chiefs on top early, 3-0. A fumble by Landry, recovery by Peters. 31-yard Butker field goal. 3-0 Chiefs, 9:41 in the first from Arrowhead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. New York Life. With the right guidance, everyone can be good at life. And by the 2018 Ford F-150, it doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Crown Center here in Kansas City. Very festive Kansas City in the holiday season. Here's how the Chiefs can win the West, Rich.
Yeah, pretty simple. Just take care of business today against Miami. You know, it's nonsense to be looking at the scoreboard. You look at the Chargers and Jets. Chiefs control their own destiny, and all they've got to do is beat Miami. Pretty simple for Andy Reid and his football team.
They've had 2 very important AFC West division wins here over the last couple weeks against the Raiders and against the Chargers last week, Saturday night. And they're going to leave that in the end zone. Let's take a look at the Dolphins, Rich.
Well, you look at their scouting report, Kevin, so much depth and talent at the wide receiver position. I think that's a position of strength. I think the offensive line play has been a work in progress. You look at the Kansas City defense, I think their ability to take the ball away. We mentioned the 7 takeaways in their last 2 games. If there's a weakness right now, I think it's their pass rush. It isn't what it used to be. The sacks and the hurries are down from a season ago.
This team throws the ball about 60% of the time, tied for the highest in the NFL, yet they rank 20th in yards. And off on 1st and 10 goes to Drake, manhandled by Benny Logan. It is a gain of 2. He's up to the 27 to the sideline, and Jenny.
Yeah, already an injury for the Miami Dolphins. Defensive tackle Vincent Taylor was carted off into the locker room after the first play of the game with a left knee injury. Guys, it's a questionable return.
He's the rookie from Oklahoma State. Thank you, Jenny. 2nd down 8. Fake to Drake. Good time, and Cutler to the air, right on the screws. Caught by Kenny Stills. And on the play, he had some coverage. It came from the secondary, and Nelson, 15-yard gain, 1st down, 42-yard line.
Good look at Stills. He's patient. He does a nice job creating some separation at the top of that route between himself and Steven Nelson, the corner of the Chiefs. As I mentioned earlier, Cutler has been very effective with the play-action game. That's why it's important that they get off to a good start running the football against this Kansas City defense.
Here's empty the backfield. 4 in the Kansas City secondary. 1st and 10 for Jay Cutler. And to the sideline again. We have the catch made by Landry. Hit by Murray on the play, and he picks up 5. He's up to the 47-yard line. Jarvis Landry with his 100th reception of the season right there.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, he once again leads this team in receptions and touchdowns. It's where Cutler looks in a critical situation, and he's so good after the catch. Very physical, especially when he's inside in the slot.
It's a 2nd down and 5 for Cutler, and he swings it upfield. It's caught by Parker, bad ankle and all, with the catch. Picks up 10 on the play. 6 catches against Buffalo. Last week he's down to the Kansas City 43. Nelson with the tackle.
And Cutler can be really streaky. When he gets in a rhythm and he gets on a roll, he can be an extremely effective passer. He understands this system, and It's important that he get off to a good start.
Drake in the backfield, 1st and 10.
You see him change the play.
Yes.
Take a look at that front and coverage and get him in the best play possible.
It's Kenyon Drake, who has been really terrific here over the last couple weeks. Allen Bailey makes the stop. Gain of 5 to the 37-yard line.
Nothing fancy, just straight downhill. Look at the center and the guard and the double team on the nose tackle. Benny Logan. Look at Drake. He's got good vision and quick reactions. As I said earlier, I've seen a number of times already this season where he's able to create yards on a poorly blocked play. Doesn't need a very big crease.
With a 2nd down and 5 for Cutler. Quick throws, ball coming out in a hurry. Here comes Landry again. Sorensen will bring him down. He's got the 1st down to the Kansas City 32. It's a gain of 6 on the play. Jarvis Landry has the most receptions through 4 seasons of any receiver in NFL history.
The receivers better hold on to the football. This one came loose as well. You see that? That's poor ball carriage. We saw it earlier. These Chiefs do a great job. They work on it every day in practice. Ball extraction. When they get around you, they've got someone trying to get you on the ground and someone else trying to rip the ball away from the ball carrier.
Dolphins are minus 12 in that category. 1st and 10. Cutler moving that pocket. Bailey in pursuit. Incomplete. Ed Gray over there, who is a tight end, and it's incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
As you mentioned, Kevin, they throw it a bunch 63% of the time. That's right up there. It's the 2nd highest percentage so far this season, and that's, I think, in part due to the fact that they've been trailing for a large portion of their games.
Rich, in the Kansas City defense on the other side, they're 28th in the NFL, but only 14th in points allowed, which is a very telling number.
Yeah, they've been pretty good in this part of the field. They make you settle for field goals once you get down inside the 25-yard line.
2nd down and 10 for Cutler. Again, that ball out in a hurry, and he's got his receiver once again, and that is Grant for the 1st time. He's close to a 1st down. Shoved out of bounds on the near side by Murray. They're going to give him the 1st, and they're going to put him at the Kansas City 22.
This Jakeem Grant has gotten my attention. He reminds me a little bit of Tyreek Hill. He's not a very big guy, but he has terrific straight line speed, and they do a terrific job throwing him the ball down the field, and he'll go get it.
Jakeem Grant was the target of Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs' 1st-round pick, a quarterback backing up Smith at Texas Tech. Looking on this drive, 5 of 6 for Cutler. 9th play of the drive, beginning back at their 25. 1st and 10. Good time. He surges and he overshoots his receiver down the middle, and that's the former Patriot and Bronco tight end A.J. Derby. Incomplete. They picked him up in late November.
Yeah, they're excited about A.J. Derby. Obviously spent some time with both the Broncos and the Patriots. 9 games this season with Denver. And with the injury to Julius Thomas, he's going to get a lot of opportunities. He knows this offense. He's a smart player. Actually worked him out when he was in college. Kevin, he was a quarterback at Iowa and at Arkansas. Can throw the football, we know that.
It's Drake on 2nd down and 10. He's shifty and he's slippery. And he's chased by Revis. And out of bounds he goes. Another 1st down, wending his way down to the 11. Flag has been thrown. A gain of 12 as it stands right now. And the hold against the Dolphins.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on the right tackle, Sam Young.
You see right here, he's just... It's pretty clear there. He's almost rips the jersey right off the back of Justin Houston. And we talk about Houston as a pass rusher, Kevin. Adam Gase was quick to point out last night that he has really improved as a run defender. So patient. Very difficult to run the ball in his direction. That's why a lot of teams decide to run the ball to the left against this Kansas City defense.
It's 2nd down and 20 for Cutler. Outside he goes. Once again caught by Landry. Brought down out there by Steven Nelson off the IR in late October to join the team. It's a pickup of 11 to the 21. Cutler having time, Rich. The pressure really not there by the Chiefs defense, and he's just kind of picking his way downfield.
And Kansas City hasn't been nearly as effective this year rushing the passer. Tabahalli has missed so much time, and when they were really rolling, you had Houston on the one side and Holly on the other side. Now they've got him on the same side. You don't see this a lot. You see Tabahalli and Justin Houston both up there on the left side of that defensive line.
3rd down 9. Bobbled, and he had trouble last week in Buffalo with the same thing. 4 fumbles last week. Recovered them all. They lose 5. He had trouble in Buffalo. He's having trouble in Kansas City.
And last week they said they thought it was more the balls. The balls were slick. That's what Cutler said, but he had a problem with it. As you said, Kevin, he put the ball on the ground 4 times. Now, there was a couple of low snaps, but the ones that he should handle. And they came here early. They were here on Friday. And they said, look, they think they've got it straightened out. You spend so much time preparing those footballs to get them ready. But what happens when it gets so cold? They're rock hard, and they're oftentimes difficult to grip.
Cody Parkey will tie it up from 44 yards away. 3.5 to go in the first. Dolphins, Chiefs on CBS. Jay Cutler on that drive, Rich, going 8 of 11 through the air. Intermediate passes, but effective.
Yeah, he's getting the ball out quick. He's making a good decision, and he's been very accurate throwing the football from the pocket.
So we've had field goals, obviously, as you can see, late here in the first quarter. Dolphins need a win, and losses by Tennessee and Buffalo to stay alive. Akeem Hunt is deep end. And this will be out of the end zone, touchback to the 25-yard line. And the Chiefs will take over for a second time, 1st and 10. Where do you get that football?
What happens is when the temperature drops, these footballs get rock hard, and they're very difficult to grip, and they can become slick. That's why some teams let a little air out of them. Won't get into all that. But what I also will tell you is this. A lot of these quarterbacks, they have these hand warmers in their pockets. Yeah. Cutler had them in there last week. And what happens sometimes is these can break down. And then you get some residue on the football. And then that becomes more slick. So you got to be smart in terms of how you play in cold weather games. And you've got to be smart with the footballs and how you prepare them for the game.
After the 44-yard field goal, 1st and 10. Hunt has leaked, and it's the quarterback Smith getting one dropped right there by Kelsey, who is 9 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving. Right in his grips. The Pro Bowler drops it downstairs. Jenny Dell.
Rich, you're going to start some drama with letting the air out of the balls chatter up there, but they said that it really has helped them being out here on Friday. They had the balls outside to get acclimated to this weather, and they've tried using a glove to help with the grip, but Cutler found himself getting stuck on the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the game plays out.
Yeah, when you consider that each team provides their own footballs, that certainly helps, Kevin. Early in my career, when that wasn't the case, sometimes you'd go to other places and the balls would be very slick and difficult to grip.
Kareem Hunt. And brought down by Kiko Alonso. And that is a gain of a yard by the top rookie running back in the NFL, Hunt out of Toledo.
Well, they asked Kiko Alonso to do a lot of different things in this defense. He makes a lot of tackles. He's got a good nose for the football. I think if there's an area of concern for this Miami defense, it's their inability to cover at the linebacker position. That's where they've been hurt a little bit, and that's what Alex Smith talked to us about on Friday. We've got to be able to take advantage of our running backs matched up against their linebackers in coverage.
Kendrick West is a running back, 3rd and 9. Buying time with the move, and he's got his receiver. That's the tight end, Kelsey. Hurdles and down, head over heels. Verner got him over 1,000 yards. The Pro Bowl tight end Kelsey gets to the 40-yard line. 14-yard catch and run, 1st down.
Well, you better have a plan for how you handle this guy. I mean, this is Travis Kelsey. It's 2 deep zone coverage. Just watch the opening in the middle of the field. The linebacker flies out of there. It creates a big gap right in the middle of that defense between the hash marks. And Miami told us they've got to be able to disrupt the timing and the release the line of scrimmage with Travis Kelsey.
With the 1st down. Oh, stuffed inside. They did a terrific job right there. Fade got him, loss of a yard, and the defensive line holds right there for Miami back to the 39-yard line.
Well, you look at a player like Kelsey, you've got to be able to get your hands on him down around the line of scrimmage and really disrupt the timing and the rhythm in the passing game. You just can't allow him to get a free release. Now, what Kansas City does such a good job of is they move him around. He never seems to be in the same spot very long. You don't see him as an inline player a lot. A lot of times he's in the slot, he's outside the numbers, he's in motion, so it makes it difficult for Miami to choke him at the line of scrimmage.
Number 1 receiving tight end in pro football, 2nd and 11 underneath. That's the rookie running back, Kareem Hunt, with his 50th reception of the season. He's got 6 right there. And speaking of Hunt and Kelsey, the Chiefs now have a 1,000-yard receiving tight end, a 1,000-yard receiving wide receiver, a 1,000-yard rushing running back. It's happened only 4 times in pro football history. Today, the 5th ever.
And that's why they're so effective. I mean, they have balance. I mean, they do a terrific job spreading you out. They've got playmakers at running back, tight end, and wide receiver.
3rd down, 5. West was in, offers a block. Flag is thrown. Here's the chase. And it was caught by Wilson as Smith was hit by Sue. The gain is near midfield. A 6-yard pickup. Good for a first down, but let's see what that flag is all about, which was thrown back on the hash at about the 33.
Watch this tackle by Sue, though, first.
Offense, number 71.
Some slam to the
10-yard
ground.
penalty.
Oof.
3rd down.
Awkwardly too, Rich.
This guy is a handful, Kevin. When he gets his hands on you, you're going to go down. Got to be smart. You cannot afford to take those unnecessary hits. You see the penalty right there on Cameron Wake.
Today is Sue's 98th consecutive start, and since 2000, Rich, he is number 2 among defensive tackles in sacks in back of Geno Atkins.
He can be extremely disruptive and really take over a game when he wants to. As mentioned, you see him throw big linemen around. He's got explosive strength at the point of attack.
First quarter has come to a close in 24-degree Kansas City on this Christmas Eve on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
On this Christmas Eve, where these two teams have a bit of history, welcoming you back to Arrowhead in Kansas City. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Jenny Dell is on our sideline. 3rd and 15, each team exchanging field goals. A lot of empty seats here, Rich. Kind of surprising at Arrowhead, which is one of the loudest venues in the NFL and usually filling every seat. 3rd and 15 to start the second quarter. Schwartz with the block, time for the quarterback, downfield they go! Hill with the catch, triple teamed, brought down by McDonald, put him at the 9, big time completion. Jones was there, and a completion of 53 yards.
Sometimes you've got to see it with your own eyes. I mean, they're in position. The safety's just late coming over the top, but we talk about rare and unusual speed at the wide receiver position, and Tyreek Hill has it. I mean, that should never happen in a 3rd and long situation. He just runs right down the middle of the field against that Miami secondary.
Big time play by Hill, 1,000-yard receiver.
He had a 64-yard touchdown reception last week against the Chargers.
Defense with 12 players with a snap imminent. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Next gen right here, a look at Hill.
Now you look at, that's Hayward. That's a pretty good corner. He just goes right by him as if he's not even there. You look at that speed, 21.19. And you look at the top 5 this year, he's got 4 of them. So, I mean, you know, if you're Miami, you can't allow Tyreek Hill to get by in the secondary. You got to keep the lid on the explosive plays against the Chiefs.
There was a penalty against the Dolphins, making it 1st and 5, and a timeout by Kansas City, with the ball now resting at the Miami 8. Andy Reid doesn't like it. Early in the second from Arrowhead. 12 men on the field for Miami. Chiefs had to use a timeout because they were slow in getting their personnel out there. 1st and 5 from the Dolphin 8. Smith. Broken up looking for Harris. Nice defensive play by Rashad Jones. Breaks it up, incomplete, 2nd down and 5.
This is why Rashad Jones is going to the Pro Bowl. He makes so many plays down around the line of scrimmage, but he's got some range in the back, and you look at that, he almost intercepts that football. He gets one hand on it, but had a great conversation with him last night. He takes a great deal of pride in his preparation, his performance each week. You see him down here. He's a very good blitzer, and they bring a ton of perimeter pressure.
We have the 2nd down and 5. Sherman with the lead block there for Hunt. And there's a tackle made once again by the 2nd leading tackler, Rashad Jones, for the 17th ranked Miami defense, and no gain on the play.
Yeah, they bring a lot of perimeter pressure. You see him bring both safeties, Rashad Jones. You'll see him bring T.J. McDonald, along with corners off the slot, off the edge. They may bring more perimeter pressure than any other defense in the league right now. Certainly more in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Defensive coordinator Matt Burke likes to get after the quarterback early and often.
3rd down and 5 on this drive. They've completed 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 15. Caught for a touchdown by Kelsey. What a grab! Kelsey has a touchdown reception right there. Just his 3rd touchdown reception in the last 6 games. 9-yard strike, and the Chiefs go up.
Well, in a critical situation, Alex Smith is going to look to his tight end Travis Kelce, especially down in the red zone where he already has 7 touchdowns. He is a big target. He's got long arms, and he is a handful to cover in the open field. Miami's going to have to get some help. You're asking a lot to put a linebacker or a safety on him in man-to-man coverage.
And he was the focus of their defense. They were going to put spies on him, disruptors on him all day long. That will continue, I'm sure, for the Miami defense.
They're going to have to continue to change it up with Travis Kelce. I mean, you just can't allow him to take over the day. I mean, he's a guy that can move the chains. He makes everything go for the Chiefs, especially on 3rd down and then down in the red zone. He's got possession of that football. He's got it up against his chest. You see Rashad Jones, he's actually in pretty good position. It's a good throw by Alex Smith high and away, and as he goes to the ground,
tries to pin it against his stomach.
Yeah, I think the ball moves, but I think it's moving against his forearm and chest. I don't know that it ever touches the ground.
Most receptions of any NFL tight end, number 2 in yards. And like I said, just his 3rd touchdown reception last 6 games with the Bucker extra point, 10-3 Kansas City. Kelce had a catch and run on that drive of 40 yards and finishes it off with a 9-yard touchdown reception. Kelce just lassoed a 9-yard touchdown laser thrown by quarterback Alex Smith. In this holiday season, we think of family, we think of friends, we think of so many people that have crossed our path, including the Hall of Fame broadcaster Dick Enberg. Passed away on Thursday, Rich, at the age of 82. You and I both knew him very well.
Yeah, he was so kind, Kevin, such a gentleman. And I just remember I was so fortunate to have the opportunity to work with him early in my career. He was so patient with me as I fumbled through that broadcast, and just never forget the gentle way that he kind of took me under his wing and helped me as a young broadcaster. What a great man, and he will be sorely missed.
He did 10 seasons of NFL football on CBS from 2000 to 2009. I remember as a young broadcaster, I'd done a game for CBS for NBC, and I was 29 years old, went to New York and sat next to Dick Enberg as a young broadcaster at this seminar at a restaurant, and we talked football and broadcasting for a couple hours. And at that table we had Don Criqui and Paul McGuire and all these great names in broadcasting.
And he was so willing to share with other broadcasters. And I can remember even during the rehearsal, I kept making mistakes, and he just said, "It's okay, it's okay." He was so patient. And man, I treasure my time with the great Dick Enberg.
We've lost a treasure, the great Dick Enberg, dead at 82. Here's a handoff, and it goes to Drake, and on his back is Raheem Nunez-Roches. It is a gain of 6. and Drake is out to the 32.
You know, you look at this Miami team, they won 10 games a season ago, and it's been a difficult year for them, up and down kind of performances. But I really respect Adam Gase. I love what he said this week. He was asked if this team's going to be motivated. He said, I hope they're motivated because they're playing for their jobs. I mean, a pretty clear message about what he's looking for and what he expects from these players these last 2 games.
Very inconsistent season for this team. Here comes the swerving Drake. And he's up to the 37. He's got the first down. He picks up 7. To New York, here's James Brown.
Not a good streak.
You're right about that. Tom Brady came into this game 4 picks in 3 games. Here is number 5, Jordan Poyer, reads his eyes, jumps the route, picks it up, and that is a pick 6 right there. How about those Buffalo Bills? They're up 10-3.
Back to Kevin, Rich, and Jenny.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you. The Bills need to lose, as does Tennessee, with the Miami win for the Dolphins to stay relevant and alive. The pitch out goes to Grant. There's a block on the side from Tunsil, but look at the Chiefs. They've got him surrounded, or do they? Brought down in the play by Murray. It is a gain of 3. I like this Jakeem Grant, too. He's a second-year wide receiver out of Texas Tech.
I just watch all these helmets that get to the football as you're rolling. I mean, you talk about the importance of taking good angles to the football. I mean, just look at them all as they head downhill. I mean, you talk about making a receiver, a back, run east and west and not north and south. Good look at defensive coordinator Bob Sutton. He's a terrific teacher, and it really emphasizes the fundamentals.
2nd down and 7. Here comes the aforementioned Grant, who gets the block downfield from Drake. Takes it down to the Kansas City 33. A catch and run at 26, and a first down for Miami.
He's just 5'7", 169 pounds, but he is dangerous with the ball in his hands in the open field. And he can make a defender miss. And once he gets up on the second level, he is a tough tackle. Just trying to find creative ways to get him the ball in space. You saw some bubble screens. You see an end around.
Creative game plan so far by Christensen, the offensive coordinator, and Gase, and bouncing outside Drake, and he's got room to roam inside the 20. And taken down in the play by Kansas City linebacker Reggie Ragland. To the 15, 18-yard run, first down Miami.
We talked about it. Even when runs aren't properly blocked, he has a way of making a defender miss and bouncing it to the edge. And as Jake Cutler told us last night, he's got rare speed for the position. He's got another gear that not a lot of defenders can keep up with.
And they say, Rich, he's matured from last year, taking his football very seriously this year.
What a difference a year makes. And I think he's so much more comfortable in the system. They got rid of a really good player, Jay Ajayi, because they wanted to see more of Kenyon Drake.
Cutler 9-12, 1st and 10 on the screws again. Caught there by Parker, brought down by Nelson with a 4-yard gain to the Kansas City 11.
How about Cutler? 10 of 13, all 10 of his completions have been to wide receivers. Doing a good job spreading the ball around to Grant and Landry and Stills and Parker. I mentioned the strength of this offense is the depth and talent that they have at wide receiver. You look at those, they like to throw the ball in this part of the field.
A lot of accuracy, huh? 2nd down and 6. Drake in the backfield. Kenyon Drake, Tunsil with the block, and he's brought down inside by Justin Houston with a gain of 1 to the 10. Drake is playing because, as we mentioned before, Ajayi was traded to Philadelphia. He was the leading running back, and then they had Damian Williams. He hurt his shoulder. He's inactive for the 3rd straight week, so Drake is the guy, and boy, over the last month, Rich, he's been terrific.
I think one of the reasons why they got rid of Jay Ajayi was he was limited in the passing game, and so they've got 2 backs and Damian Williams when he's up and healthy, and obviously Kenyon Drake that are very similar.
3rd down and 5. Chiefs in the nickel to the end zone, and it was an attempt by Derby with the coverage on the play by Eric Murray. A.J. Derby was in the sights of the quarterback Cutler. Here comes the field goal unit for the Dolphins again.
Back shoulder throw to the tight end A.J. Derby. He's not able to get his left arm around, and part of the problem was Eric Murray wasn't going to allow him to get that arm across his face, so he tried to catch it with just his right arm, unable to pull it in. But
So Cody Parkey, who is kicked for Philadelphia, Cleveland, now Miami, had 3 field goals last week in Buffalo, will be trying a 28-yarder. And right through it goes. It's a 4-point game with 8:11 to play. 10-6 Chiefs on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. Honda. Hurry into the Happy Honda Day sales event today. And by Forevermark. Discover the Forevermark Tribute Collection at forevermark.com.
That picture right there was taken in Berlin. We were playing a preseason game. I did the Chiefs for 9 years on radio. Len Dawson, Bill Grigsby was on the left. Lenny's number retired here. Today is the last, and we're in the broadcast booth, the Len Dawson broadcast booth here at Arrowhead Stadium. Len Dawson's last regular season home broadcast today. Akeem Hunt on a bounce from the 5 for the Chiefs. The former Texan will take it past the 30. And he gets it to go with a tackle made by Walt Aikens. 27-yard return. And here's a look at the division. If the Chiefs win this week or next week, they win. They've beaten the Chargers and the Raiders the last 2 weeks here at Arrowhead, Rich.
The Chargers just scored to go up 7-0 on the Jets. Jets obviously playing without Josh McCown. They've got Bryce Petty in there again. You and I saw him last week, Kevin. Kind of an up and down performance against the Saints.
Down in New Orleans, that's right. Hunt in the backfield. The other Hunt, Kareem Hunt, with a 1st and 10 handoff. And into the pile, flag thrown up to the 38-yard line as he was pushing a pile. Good for 6 yards right there. Chiefs beat the Chargers last week 30-13. Dolphins lost in Buffalo 24-16.
Holding. Defense. That 5-yard penalty is added at the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
Let's say Merry Christmas in New York in our CBS studios. Here's James.
Merry Christmas to you, 10 and 25.
Yeah, and that's Phillip Rivers, the gift that keeps on giving. 87th time this legendary connection has linked up. How about those Chargers? They lead 7-0.
10th straight year with 25 TDs or more. I know Rich appreciates that. Back to Kevin Harlan.
How can you not cover? How can you not cover Gates down in the red zone? What's wrong with them?
1st and 10. Kareem Hunt, he was a 3rd-round pick. And he takes it in the middle. Had a couple guys in there. You see Malveaux with a hit. Gain of 2. Out to the 45-yard line. Kiko Alonso making the stop as well. It's, you know, last week you and I were in New Orleans. We saw Breeze and Sean Payton so much on the same page. Same is true here with Reed and Alex Smith.
Yeah, the fact that they've been together for 5 years, there's continuity, there's consistency, there's a history together, and I think that's really important, especially from the quarterback's perspective. Now, Andy Reid has handed over the play calling responsibilities to offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, but he's still very much involved, obviously, in game planning as they get ready each week.
Into the nickel, 2nd down and 8. It's Smith, Schwartz the block, going deep, and he's got him! And it's dropped by Wilson. From Port St. Lucie, Florida, Albert Wilson dropping it right there. That was a sure 6 being registered. The drop pass incomplete.
Well, you get so tied up with Tyreek Hill that you lose sight of another fast receiver, Albert Wilson. He just runs right by the secondary, right by Bobby McCain. I think if you're the Chiefs, you've got to go after the cornerbacks not named Xavier Howard. I think Howard is clearly their best cover corner, but Kansas City really likes their matchups versus McCain and Verner and Tankersley.
Yeah, Xavier Howard picked off Brady a couple weeks ago on Monday. He had 2 the week before. 3rd down and 8 here by Alex Smith. Lot of debris, sorts his way through, needs the 47. And he takes it for the 1st down run. Hit on the play by Jones, who tried to head him off with the pass. That's a run at 10. Flag thrown, as you can see. Looked like it was downfield. Looked like it was on
Holding.
Miami.
Number 25, defense. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
That's Xavier Howard out of Baylor. 2nd-round pick 2 years ago.
And just watch here. Rashad Jones, he gets that right arm in there. I think it's just enough to pull back the right arm of Alex Smith, and it He bobbles the football as he crosses the first down marker.
Rich, that's the 4th penalty on Miami's defense in this game.
Penalties have been a problem for this Miami defense this season. Come at the most inopportune times.
The draw. There goes Kareem Hunt. Galloping by Timmons, slips through his grasp, brought down by Bobby McCain. 11-yard run to the 29 of the Dolphins, and a first down for the Chiefs.
Well, we talk so much about Travis Kelce. Watch Kelce pull. This is pretty good action, but the tight end's going to make the key block at the point of attack. He's going to pull, and he kicks out on Kiko Alonso, and that allows the running back Kareem Hunt to get up on the second level. You think so much about Travis Kelce as a receiver, but he's willing to go in there and do the dirty work as well in the running game.
Duvernay Tardif, the guard, with a good block too. They go at him again. Kareem Hunt. And brought down by T.J. McDonald with a gain of 2. All-time leading rusher at Toledo. Just some incredible numbers, especially Rich's numbers from scrimmage. In the NFL, number 3 in yards from scrimmage this season as a rookie.
Yeah, over 1,200 yards. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. And you look at, he got off to the great start the first 5 games of the season, and then they went on the sabbatical, lost 6 of 7. But the last 2 weeks, he's had 100-yard rushing games against the Raiders and the Chargers. I said the key is the number of carries, 25 against Oakland and 24 against the Chargers.
Second down, 8, option play. Here comes Kareem Hunt. Down the sideline, inside the 5. Brought down by Jones. A gallop right there of 24. First and goal, Kansas City. Did you see how Smith changes the play and brings Hunt from the wing back inside?
Yeah, just watch how they're going to option the football off of Cameron Wake. And you see the little pitch. They draw Wake. Wake's got to make a decision. Do I stay with the quarterback or do I go upfield and try and handle the running back, Kareem Hunt? He's on an island. It's a very difficult assignment for the defensive end.
Smith made that go, though. He saw something that was open, bringing Hunt from a receiver into the backfield. First and goal from the 3. Here comes Hunt again. He sheds a blocker. He goes inside down to the 1. And he picks up 2 on that one.
Well, the number of carries is the key for Kareem Hunt because the more he gets, the better they do. I mentioned Kevin, 25 against the Raiders, 24 against the Chargers. He gets his touches. They're tough to beat.
Ninth play of the drive, second down and goal. Hunt easily takes it in, slicing for the 1-yard touchdown run. 7th touchdown run this season for the rookie out of Toledo, Kareem Hunt.
Well, they don't even block the end man on the line of scrimmage. You see the linebacker Timmons comes. You see the other linebacker Travis Kelce or Kiko Alonso, and you see Kareem Hunt. He just finds a little gap there between the outside linebackers.
So on that drive, it was all authored by Honey. An 11-yard run, a 24-yard run. He gets the 1-yard touchdown run. Extra point here by Bucker, 17-6. Kansas City, 3.5 to go. Kareem Hunt, probably the offensive rookie of the year. A couple guys will have a say along with Kamara down in New Orleans, but this guy has been terrific for the Chiefs. So the Kansas City Chiefs have had it 3 times. They have scored every time they've had it. The 9-yard touchdown reception by Kelce, the 1-yard touchdown run by Hunt. Those are the 2 headliners, along with the quarterback Alex Smith for the Chiefs offense.
And this is an important possession for Miami, as Jenny pointed out earlier, Kevin. You know, the Dolphins struggle to get off to a good start. That's a problem, and Adam Gase knows it. They just can't push the panic button if they have adversity early, but they've got to be able to answer against the Chiefs.
This will be on the ground. Derby, the tight end, out of bounds, will get it, and then was upended on the play by Terrence Smith of the Chiefs. A 10-yard return by the tight end, Derby. Well, on Tuesday, the Miami Dolphins hosted 125 school students for their annual holiday toy event. For the Chiefs on Thursday, the Eric Berry Foundation dropped off toys at Children's Mercy Hospital. They also donated $18,000 as well.
You see that from so many different teams and players around the National Football League, especially during the holidays and at Christmas time. It's great to see. Very generous players. It's part of their commitment to the community, Kevin.
They lost Barry in the first game played on that season opener in New England against the Patriots. So here are the Dolphins at 6-8, 2-5 on the road. They've lost 4 consecutive road games. But Rich, after losing 5 in a row, they've won 2 of 3 with very faint playoff hopes still in front of them.
Yeah, I just watched them a couple of weeks ago against the New England Patriots, Kevin. They absolutely embarrassed them. I mean, Cutler was terrific. He threw 3 touchdowns. Kenyon Drake was outstanding. And defensively, the way they got after Brady, and that's going to be the key, I think, against Alex Smith. If the defensive line can penetrate and be disruptive, they've got a chance.
They tacked on 5 more yards against the Chiefs because they were offsides on that kickoff. 1st and 10, Cutler. Drake was back there, another quick throw, and it's caught by Grant. They're using him a lot, and he breaks away. There he goes. He is gone. Jakeem Grant broke the tackle, races 65 yards, and a touchdown for the Dolphins, who are now back in business.
Boy, just a little simple slip screen, and we've seen this a couple times already, and then you got him bottled up, and you just can't make the tackle. Ron Parker, the safety, I think the linebacker runs into Parker, knocks him off Grant, but boy, what an explosive play to start the drive.
Cutler completes just his 2nd pass of over 40 yards this season in well over 400 attempts. Think of that. Extra point is away and good by Parkey. 17-13 Dolphins. Explosive offensive play from the young player Jakeem Grant. 65 yards all the way in. Cutler threw it a lot last week in Buffalo. Boy, is he accurate today, Rich. He's 11 of 15, 169. This is the good Jay Cutler you were talking about.
Well, he's spinning it right now.
Yeah.
The ball's coming out quick. He's making good decisions, and he looks very comfortable back there in the pocket.
34-year-old Jay Cutler from Christmas, Indiana, of all places. Here comes Akeem Hunt. And he was brought down as he got close to the 20-yard line and hit on the play by the Dolphins linebacker Mike Hull. 13-yard return. Coming up in the Verizon halftime report from our CBS studios in New York, JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher, scores, news, and highlights. All next on the Verizon halftime report here on CBS. Dolphins are giving them a game. They're alive, technically still alive in the AFC playoff picture. They need to win their final 2 games, and they need a lot of help, including losses by Tennessee and Buffalo today. 1st and 10 from the 19 for Alex Smith. Good catch, snared. That's Hill, hit by McCain, and he's up to the 28-yard line, 9-yard quick hitter right there by quarterback Alex Smith.
Tyreek Hill, not the biggest receiver, but he's become a better route runner. We know he can run deep, but I think he's become a lot more effective with the short and intermediate throws. Done a better job getting off of the press man-to-man coverage at the line of scrimmage, using those hands and arms to create some separation.
It's a 2nd down and 1. The fake by Smith, and outside he'll go. Wilson, who is met and taken down with a nice play out there. Good stop by Torrey McTyer with a gain of 4, and a flag is thrown. Chiefs come in having won 2 straight after losing 4 in a row, and they lost 6 of 7. But they've won 2 in a row coming in and can clinch the division and a playoff spot with a win today in that AFC West.
And we saw this very same play earlier in the first quarter. It's a difficult play to defend.
Offense number 87, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Kelsey guilty.
Well, you got him blocking down the field. Just watch him. He's coming from the left side of your screen. He's going to come in. He's going to block. See him pull up and downfield blocking before Alex Smith throws the football.
Kelsey has got a touchdown pass today of 9. Hunt just ran one in from a yard. We saw Jakeem Grant, the young receiver for the Dolphins, catch and race 65 yards for a Dolphin touchdown. Second down, 11. It's outside, athletic catch by Kareem Hunt with a nice tackle made by Bobby McCain. He started the last couple games. He's the nickel, the slot cornerback. He allows no gain right there and brings us to the 2-minute warning on Christmas Eve in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. And by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army.
Kansas City Chiefs have been around 58 years. They've won 9 division titles, but Rich, they've never won back-to-back division titles. They can do it with a win today.
I was surprised to see that, Kevin. I played here for 4 years, and we won 2 of them, but we didn't do it in back-to-back seasons. So we got a great opportunity here today against the Dolphins.
Andy Reid has 2 timeouts, a 3rd and 11. Right now, he's at his own 18. Charkandrick West is the running back. Into the Dolphin nickel. The blitz is on. He's hit hard. It's a low throw and gobbled in by Harris. Shy of the first down, 22-yard line. It is a gain of 4. McCain was covering on the play. 4th down. Here comes the punting unit.
Well, they bring them all. I mean, this is a good 6-man pressure, and Alex Smith tries to retreat and hold the football, but he's not able to set his feet and make a good, accurate throw to his tight end, Demetrius Harris. Look at the pressure up inside. Cameron Wake is coming free. It takes a lot of courage to sit in there with a tough jaw and make a good, accurate throw.
Also through was Rashad Jones. They sent them both off the edge. Timeout taken. Miami takes it 2 apiece with 1:50 to go.
Well, Miami has been really impressive on 3rd down. In fact, at times, Kevin, this year they've been dominant. It was unheard of in terms of what they did in New England a couple weeks ago. The Patriots were 0 for 11, and then a week before that they held Denver to just 1 conversion in 13 tries. Very good 3rd down defense.
Dustin Colquitt will punt for the first time today for the Chiefs. And deep back is Grant. He's the one who had that catch and run. Good hang time. Wind was in his face, and he moves him downfield, a 49-yarder. Other games are going well for the Dolphins right now. They needed Buffalo to lose, and they are by 3 to the Patriots, 2nd quarter. And the Rams, one of the great stories this season in the NFL, on top of Tennessee in Nashville. If Buffalo loses and Tennessee loses and Miami wins, the Dolphins live for another day and go into the final regular season weekend against the Bills with a chance still to make the playoffs.
So you say there's a chance.
I say there's a chance. And that's what Adam Gase has told his team and Jay Cutler
Absolutely.
all week long. Jay Cutler, 34 years of age, on 1st and 10. The handoff to Drake. He's out of Alabama, and he is stuffed at the line right there and hit by Chris Jones with a little shove after the play and a gain of about a yard. That's it, to the 30-yard line. Cutler today.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the way he's throwing the football. He looks comfortable. He's made some really good, accurate throws to Kenny Stills. We talked about these receivers and getting them into transition of the run, whether it's Jarvis Landry. How about this Jakeem Grant? I'd find more ways to get him touches. He's been phenomenal. 3 catches for 101 yards already. The speedy receiver.
2nd down and 9. Cutler going deep and nobody home. And that's the kind of pass that sometimes confounds the coaches. But maybe he was just throwing it away, Rich, because he saw everyone was covered and time was running out.
You see that once in a while. We saw it last week against Buffalo.
Yes,
one of the interceptions late where the receiver's doing one thing and Cutler's expecting something else. And that could drive Adam Gase crazy. He spends so much time during the week repping these plays and making sure that everyone knows exactly what to do in a critical situation.
How do you like a head coach calling the plays, by the way, like Gase does?
I like it. You know, look, there's no indecision with Adam Gase. You know what you're going to get. It's a straight shooter. I like the fact that he's in the headset of Jay Cutler.
Bobble that one, 39. That was deflected and coming through. May have been Chris Jones. Chris Jones has had a great couple weeks, a sack each of the last 2 games, 2 straight. That time he got in the passing lane and knocks it away on the pass from Cutler.
You look at the top of your screen, they're unblocked. You look at Jones and Allen Bailey. It's tough on Jay Cutler to try and throw over those big men when they're end men on the line of scrimmage unblocked in the protection scheme.
Tyreek Hill is deep back. And the punt coming up from Matt Hawk, who's a rookie free agent out of Arizona State.
Boy, I don't know that would give Tyreek Hill an opportunity to return this, and he's not.
Bad punt and out of bounds. Didn't go far, didn't hang high, and
boy, good field position.
It sure is. The Chiefs have got 2 timeouts as they keep it away, but at the 45-yard line is where they'll go. A 25-yard punt by the rookie free agent Hawk. Coming up in the Verizon halftime report from New York, JB and Company for scores, news, and highlights. That's next. The Verizon halftime report from CBS in New York.
A big mistake there from the punter, Matt Hawk. You look at Kansas City, they've scored 8 times in the final 2 minutes of the first half. As you said, they've got 2 timeouts left. Plenty of time to get down there in field goal range.
Chiefs about 70 yards on the ground. West is in the backfield. First down and 10.
They're going to double right down here. They're not going to allow Kelsey to get the linebacker and safety working in combination.
Yep, Alonzo is on the tight end. Smith looking that way, now going underneath. And incomplete for Kelsey.
I don't know what Alex Smith was looking at, but he had Travis Kelsey early. Just watch his eyes. He's working to his left initially. And then when he comes back, look, he's wide open. Just throw it. Sometimes we say if you wait, you're late. If you're late with your eyes, it affects everything when it comes to your accuracy.
And you were watching a bunch of tape. You think that Kelsey's the key for the passing game, and so Miami's trying to disrupt that timing today, correct?
They are. You've got to make sure you've got a plan for him. And see how the Chiefs, they continually move him around.
Second down and 10. Good block by Fisher downfield. They go. It's almost picked off by Torrey McTyer, who is a rookie free agent from UNLV. Incomplete.
Yeah, McTyer's out on the. He's actually covering the receiver, and he just sinks enough, and that should have been an interception. And McTyer, it goes right through his hands.
He's been inactive most of the season, but he has played the last 2 games. 3rd in a row today.
He was actually outside covering Albert Wilson, but he was reading the eyes of the quarterback the entire way and saw him looking back inside to Kelsey.
Alex Smith, career high numbers in touchdown, passing yards, quarterback rating right across the board. 3rd down and 10. West the block. Here comes the blitz. It's by Jones, and he throws it away, and there's a flag. The blitz came from Bobby McCain on the corner. And this looks to be against Miami. Well, there are 2 out there. There's one back by the 28 and one downfield at the 45.
Well, they're going to call this on Cameron Wake. He actually tackles Travis Kelsey at the line of scrimmage.
There is no foul for intentional grounding as there was holding by the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. It results an automatic first down.
I'd hold 2 if you had a guy like Kelsey running at you.
Well, here he is right here. You're going to see the pressure off the edge. He's got the tight end in man-to-man coverage. You're asking a lot. So what's he going to do? Just make sure you grab him and hold him. Watch Cameron Wake. He's just going to grab him, hold on for dear life, and you can't do it. That's a big penalty. Could have had the Chiefs for intentional grounding. Instead, they've got a first down at midfield with 35 seconds left and a couple timeouts, and a very good kicker.
Yeah, Butker, who is 4 of 5 from 50 plus. 5th defensive penalty against Miami. 1st and 10, Kansas City.
You've got one-on-one right down here. Be surprised to see the Chiefs take a shot.
Howard watching Hill. 1st and 10. Smith and McCain was there defending Albert Wilson. Nice defense by 3-year veteran Bobby McCain.
Well, that would have been a tough catch, but great coverage from the veteran corner.
Was that Charles Hill with that shot from the end zone that time? I think it was, with our super slow-mo. Great shot. One of our terrific cameramen. 2nd down and 10.
Great. Wide, DD.
West in the backfield. Shorts the block at the right tackle. Going deep for Hill. He cut in! What a catch! Right in front of Xavier Howard. A grab of 33 yards and a first down for the Chiefs.
Well, if you leave him in man-to-man coverage, you're asking a lot, even for a good corner like Howard. He just loses track of the football. This is actually an underthrow by Alex Smith. Look at the adjustment from Tyreek Hill. He's able to go up and high point it right in front of the second-year corner, Xavier Howard.
There's Cameron Wake. He is down. 35 years of age, the five-time Pro Bowler who is just on the cusp of a double-digit sack season. Only 3 other guys have done that at that age. Wake a special player. So Hill has his second big third down reception today for quarterback Alex Smith, who took a wallop on that one. From Jordan Phillips.
Well, tough to tell what happened to Cameron Wake. Don't know if he got rolled up on. He seemed to be at the bottom of that pile. You see him walk gingerly off the field. Can't afford to lose him.
Tyreek Hill has 3 catches for the Chiefs today for 94 yards. That one good for 33. Earlier he had 1 for 52.
Sometimes as a quarterback, you just got to give these guys a chance to go make a play. Just get it in his area.
Alex Smith, best season of his career.
Boy, Miami's really been hurt by the explosive plays. Kansas City has touchdowns, 16 touchdowns of 20 yards or more. And you look at the Dolphins, they've already given up 63 plays of 20 yards or more this season, which is the 4th most in football.
West comes in the backfield, 1st and 10. Smith blocked, knocked down, batted down inside. Was it Phillips? It may have been.
Jordan Phillips.
He's done enough now. They want him around. He's really been reliable, far more consistent. The 2nd-round pick out of Oklahoma 3 years ago for the Dolphins.
Good adjustment. I mean, he knows he's not going to get there, so he does the next best thing. He just jumps up and gets one of those big mitts on the ball and knocks it down.
Not a question if they're going to keep him around. The coaches tell us, yeah, they want to. 2nd down and 10. 2 Kansas City timeouts. West out of the backfield will get the call right there with a great read on it on the wing. Nice play. Stephon Anthony, the linebacker Anthony, played the last 5 games. He is graded well. He throws him for a 3-yard loss. They're back to the 18.
I think if I were Alex Smith, I just would have thrown this one away, Kevin. You complete the ball for a gain of 1 or even get back to line of scrimmage.
In fact, they put the Chiefs not at the 18, but at the 20-yard line of Miami.
Sometimes the best play, the only play, is to throw it away. Live for another down.
3-3.
Chiefs do a pretty good job, though, avoiding the negative plays.
3rd and 13.
Zone coverage.
Into the nickel. Smith underneath. Jarkandrick West. Run out of bounds on the play by Bobby McCain. The catch and run takes him to about the 14-yard line with a catch and run of 5. Clock at 11 seconds, Rich.
They just sneak the back out. It's tough to convert those 3rd and longs against that Miami defense in their zone coverage. Nonetheless, still opportunity to come away with a field goal before the half.
How about the pickup of the Chiefs of Harrison Butker, who is on the practice squad at Carolina? Cairo Santos was the kicker, had a hip injury in camp. It never really healed. They put him on IR. They get this guy who had lost the duel with Graham Gano in Carolina. They sign him, and the rookie out of Georgia Tech has been terrific. Knocks in another one, that one from 32 yards away. His 2nd today on the season. He is 33 of 36. He has been wonderful. Chiefs on top by 7. We'll be back to Arrowhead after this in 30 seconds. Rich, it's a 7-point game. Probably will take us to halftime. What are your thoughts on the first half, and are you surprised by the score?
It's kind of been a back and forth game. You know, you look at the Chiefs have been very effective, Kevin, early in the game. Good job spreading the ball around, but I've been impressed with the job that Jay Cutler has done. He's already thrown for 169 yards and a touchdown in the first half.
Drake will leave it in the end zone. Out to the 25, 1st and 10. Adam Gase, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, sends out Jay Cutler. You wonder if this is Cutler's last season, Rich. We don't know what he's going to do next year. Tannehill will be healed and back, and will Cutler stay a Dolphin? Will he retire as he did at the end of last year with Chicago?
I'm not sure he's certain, Kevin. You know, we visited with him yesterday and asked him about whether he'd go back to the broadcast, but I think he's really enjoying himself and having fun. And I think he realizes that he can still play this game at a high level.
And who comes back next year? Matt Moore, who's inactive today with a foot injury. He's a free agent. Cutler's a free agent. They paid him 1 year and $10 million to take the place. Adam Gase with decisions on his hand. All right, 2013, the Chiefs. If they go on to win, they win the division. If Miami wins and a couple losses and some help from some others, they stay alive. First half highlights coming up from Verizon, and a word from your local CBS station.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
That is our score at halftime, 2013, with the Kansas City Chiefs needing a win to win the division and get into the playoffs. Kevin Harlan alongside Rich Gannon. Well, what do you think of the first half?
Getting your hands warm,
yeah,
huh?
Cold.
You know, despite the Chiefs being up a touchdown, Kevin, statistically it's been a pretty even half of football. Both quarterbacks have played well, taking care of the football. You look at the running game, pretty similar numbers. So I think, look, third down has been a problem for Miami. But other than that, you look at time of possession, look at total yards, passing yards, rushing yards. It's got a good first half of football. And when you think of what's at stake for both teams, I mean, Kansas City controls their own destiny. If they can win, they win the AFC West. And Miami's getting some help from New England and from the Rams. And so this game means a lot for the Dolphins as well.
And Akeem Hunt will take the opening kickoff of the second half and get a block on the play from Sherman, the tight end, and up the sideline he goes before he's brought down by Sonoris Perry. Let's go downstairs to Jenny Dell.
Well, before the game, Andy Reid said that he's been on both sides of Jay Cutler, the good side and the bad side. So during the half, I asked him, which side do you think this is? He said, this is definitely the good side. He's playing well down here. He said Kansas City needs to get pressure, tackle, and avoid penalties in the second half. Now for the Dolphins, Adam Gase told me he needs to produce in the red zone. He said defensively, he's really pleased with what his team's been doing, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot, guys.
They get up some big plays, Jenny, through the air. That's been the biggest issue when you look at this Miami defense through 30 minutes of football.
Kareem Hunt in the backfield, first down and 10. Stuff right there, brought down by Jordan Phillips from Wichita, Kansas. With a gain of a yard up near the 37.
Look at that defensive line. They're not two-gappers. In other words, they're not reading and reacting. Rather, they want to get upfield and stop the run on their way to the quarterback. They do a good job of penetrating and disrupting your time and rhythm as an offense. And you look at defensive coordinator Matt Burke. It's his philosophy. He wants to be aggressive with his defensive front.
Hey, kill. Ready for it. Good. Color.
Change the play, second down, 9. Smith underneath, hits Hunt, who is grabbed by Alonzo and whacked by Lawrence Timmons, the former Pittsburgh linebacker. Gain of 6 on the play, out to the 43.
I had a coach early in my career, Kevin. You may remember him, Jerry Burns. He was head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. He was a crazy guy, yell at you a lot. But he always said to me, he said, you'll never go broke taking a profit. When that running back's over the ball, you throw it to him on the early downs and pick up 6 or 8. Keep us in manageable numbers on third down. That's really been the key when you look at how Alex Smith has played this year. It's a good job utilizing those running backs on the early downs. A lot of pre-snap movement from Kansas City.
A lot of deception. 3rd and 3. Look out! He got away from 1. He gets away from 2. He gets a block. And Smith living for another day. Can he get the first down? He had to get to the 46. What a play by Alex Smith.
What an incredible effort from Alex Smith. He should have been sacked twice. And we talked to the Dolphins last night. They said when he runs the football.
Defense number 22. 5-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
I think Wake was the first one he got away from. And then there's all kind of debris around him.
He should be on the ground. I mean, Cameron Wake missed a sack last week.
He did in Buffalo, you're right.
And there's a couple right there. I mean, they had him in the wraps. Branch missed him. Wake missed him. And when Alex Smith runs with the football, you've got to treat him like a running back when he gets outside the pocket. He's not looking for a safe landing spot to slide. He's going to try and dive for first downs. It's kind of unusual at the quarterback position.
His passer rating, #1 in the NFL. First down and 10. With Kareem Hunt in the backfield, the fake right there. They were sending Jones. He fell on the blitz, and it's off to Demetrius Harris. College basketball player, Milwaukee. It's a catch and run of 9. He gets down to the Dolphin 42. Missed tackles last week as well for Miami.
Yeah, we really study this defense. Kevin, they miss too many tackles. I mean, sometimes they take poor angles. It's poor pursuit. Sometimes it's improper technique and fundamentals. And that's been an issue. You look at the linebackers in particular. They've got 39 missed tackles already this season. That's the second most. Only Cleveland has more, and that's not good company to keep the winless Browns.
Hey, Philly. Wide, AD.
Base defense, second down and 1. Witzman out there to block. Going deep. Oh, he's got him. Charles, the tight end, Orson Charles, makes the grab. Signed in late November off the practice squad. 37-yard strike down to the 7 of Miami. First and goal, Kansas City.
Well, this is what you want to keep an eye on. They're going to block down, and then he's going to leak out all the way across the formation. Alex is going to get outside the pocket, and so it's a little bit about illusion in disguise. You lose the tight end. He gets caught up in the wash, and then watch him. He comes right out the back door. And now you're just scrambling to try and make a play. Kiko Alonso playing with his eyes in the backfield. He never feels the tight end, Charles, slip out.
Chiefs are going to call a timeout. So we'll step aside. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from State Farm. Andy Reid loves his tight ends, doesn't he, Rich?
Yeah, you'll see a lot of multiple tight end usage. They'll use 2 and 3 tight end sets a lot. Not just to run the football, Kevin. Sometimes you see them in there, they run the football, but they have plays that look the same but are different. And that's how they lull you to sleep. You get that big group of tight ends all on one side of the ball. You think it's going to be a strong side run, and next thing you know, they slip one of them out the back door.
Sherman is the fullback with the first and 10. Plenty of blocking. Off to the side, incomplete. They were looking for the other tight end, Demetrius Harris.
No, he wanted to throw the ball to Travis Kelce. He just falls down at the top of the route. Look, he's trying to run the slant route. He just stumbles. May have been a double move. Alex Smith was stuck. He was wanting to throw the ball that way, and he had to spin back and wind up throwing it away.
They had Cam Irving in there as an extra blocker. As you can see, some of the defensive notes there for Miami.
And the Chiefs have been really good coming out of the half. They've scored 6 times on the first possession of the second half.
Second down and goal, Hunt. And he'll snake his way down to the 3. Jones around his waist. A gain of 4 right there by Kareem Hunt. Who already has a 1-yard touchdown run today for the Chiefs.
Well, he takes great care of the ball, doesn't he? Kareem Hunt,
yeah.
Kevin, he just had that. He's gone almost 300. Actually, it's been over 300 carries without a fumble. He had a fumble in his first touch of the year. He hasn't had one since.
Number 2 rusher in the NFL. Third down and goal. Smith. Caught by Hill on the chalk. Xavier Howard was there to defend him in the secondary for Miami.
A better throw gets this done because this is a fine route by the receiver, Tyreek Hill, but see how high the ball is? He gets the first one in. Does he get the second one in?
If he did, he has just pulled a Houdini.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Terrific concentration. But watch the ball, though, as it goes to the ground. The question is, does the ball move? I think he's got possession. Maybe one to take a look at.
Reed is going to challenge, I think.
See how high the throw is, though? That's part of the problem.
Oh, I think he got it in, Rich, if he held on to the ball, too.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
That will be one of the great acrobatic catches, if it counts, for a touchdown this year.
But you got to watch the ball as he's going to the ground. That's the key. We saw what happened in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
See the point of that ball. Now, does the ball move at all? To me, it looks like he's got it firmly against his chest. But we'll have to wait to see what the folks back in New York think. This is what happened. This is what happened in the Patriots-Steelers game. Tight end was going to the ground, and the ball moved a little bit. Everyone was looking at whether he was touched down and not whether or not the ball actually moved.
Rich, I'm always amazed the awareness these receivers have, where the sideline is, where they've got to get their feet in. I mean, right there, that's terrific. That's art.
Well, that's great concentration. You talk about the toe tap on the boundary. I mean, that's not a lot of players can make that play in that situation.
He's a Pro Bowler as a returner, and he'll be playing receiver over 1,000 yards, 7th leading receiver in terms of yards. He's caught 7 touchdown passes this season from quarterback Alex Smith.
And he's not just relying on his speed anymore to get off the press line of scrimmage. He's using his hands and his arms and some quickness and moves to be able to get some separation. Clearly, he's got both feet in bounds. It's a question of whether or not they felt the ball moved at all as he was going to the ground. I don't think there's enough there to...
Because it was ruled on the field
an incomplete pass.
Yes.
I think there's enough there to overturn it and give him a touchdown. I mean, look, he's got the second foot in. He's going to the ground. And clearly that foot is in bounds. And we watched a number of times.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It is an incomplete pass. Kansas City has charged the timeout and loses the challenge.
Now, I wish they would tell you why. In other words, okay, so they're going to stay with the call on the field. Why are they staying with the call on the field? Did they say that the second foot didn't get it, was not in bounds, or the ball moved as he was going to the ground? I mean, some clarification there from the officials would have been helpful. I think you owe it to the fans here in Kansas City, back in Miami. You and I in the broadcast booth.
Well, why don't you call Alberto Riveron? They said there's not enough evidence to overturn it. Clearly, we saw the feet in. They'll try a 21-yard field goal here with Butker, which makes it 23-13, 10-point lead again for the Chiefs, and 10:24 to go. Charles had a catch for 37. Was he in or was he out? They say no. They settle for 3 in the third.
Well,
there was the first foot that was a concern. We thought that was in.
Yeah, they said they couldn't tell for sure.
It's inconclusive, yeah. So Butker will tee it up at the 35. He's kicked field goals of 31, 32, 21 yards. There's been a touchdown run of a yard by Hunt, 9-yard. Touchdown reception by Kelsey. The ensuing kickoff after his 21-yarder will be retrieved by Grant 8 yards deep. He leaves it in the end zone to the 25. We have the touchback tonight. The Catholic monks who have been protecting ancient religious works from ISIS. A survival story. Tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. Well, now here comes Jay Cutler. His first half, 11-17, 169. He had a touchdown pass of 65-yard that was more catch and run by Grant. And here he goes with the 1st and 10 from his 25.
Get in! 180! 180!
Couple tight ends, Drake in the backfield. Look out! They wrap him up, and here comes Benny Logan. Steamrolls his way for a big-time tackle back at the 19. Loss of 5.
You know, you see this a couple times a week when you really watch this team. I don't understand how you just don't block the nose tackle. I mean, this is just asking a lot. You turn him loose right in the A-gap, and the back's got no chance. And that's just bad football.
Logan spent 4 years with Philadelphia, a 3rd-round pick by the Eagles. He's in Kansas City. Here's a 2nd down and 16 for Cutler. Underneath through the hands of Drake. Well, the Chiefs have got a lot of things in play today, including winning here, winning the division. For a second consecutive time, the Jets win. They win it. And right now the Jets are tied with the Chargers in the Meadowlands at 7. Bryce Petty quarterbacking the Jets today.
Got to be smart here if you're Jay Cutler. Just can't afford a sack or a turnover.
Chiefs have 6 defensive backs, 3rd and 16. They go underneath. Big time hit by Sorensen, the guy that replaced Eric Berry in the secondary. Caught by Grant. 6-yard pickup. Got to the 25. 4th down. Here comes the punting unit for Miami.
Well, I really like this Sorensen. When you study the film, he's all over the place. He's really taken advantage of his opportunities, and through a lot of hard work, he's made himself into a really good player. He's an effective blitzer. He's tough. They like to play him down around the line of scrimmage.
They say that Eric Berry, who's on the sideline, quizzes players on things they should look for, including Sorensen. He breaks them as they go out on the field. He's been incredibly helpful. Here's the punt by Matt Hawk.
Another bad one.
It is on the bounce. Hill will take it, and then is devoured on the play by Walt Aikens. 3-yard return, 34-yard punt, 8:49 in the third. Chiefs by 10 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. State Farm, here to help life go right. And by Verizon, best gifts on the best network.
Well, that from the 71 AFC Divisional Playoff game. Dolphins and Chiefs double overtime on Christmas Eve. Some of the names in that game from Kansas City: Dawson and Bell and Buck Buchanan, Willie Lanier, Otis Taylor. My goodness, there were 16 future Hall of Famers in that game. Think of that, Rich.
That's amazing.
16 future Hall of Famers. 1st and 10, dropped. Second one by Wilson, but he picks
Caught
it
it the second time after
Did
he
he- did he
dropped
get
it.
it
No,
on
he's a one hop it.
Yeah, that's a one-hopper. That's an incomplete pass, correct?
It's a good effort, though. Watch,
was,
he's going to
yeah,
drop
faked
it.
him.
Okay, it's
Faked
going
him
to hit
out.
the ground, then he scoops it up like a shortstop.
In that game, Garo Yepremian kicked a game-winning 37-yard field goal, and the Dolphins won it with a big day by Ed Podolak, who is here in the stadium today. 27-24 Finns over the Chiefs at the old stadium downtown.
I used to love watching those games.
Oh, my gosh. Weren't they great?
Yeah, so many great players, as you mentioned, Kevin. Hall of
Players
Fame,
and coaches,
Hall of
by the
Fame,
way.
Yep, Hall of Fame quarterbacks and coaches and assistants.
That 16 number includes Shula and includes Hank Stram. 2nd down and 10. Smith, long, Kelsey caught it. Jones is on his back, 18-yard catch down to the 40. Kelsey over 1,000 yards earlier in the game. Also a touchdown reception, comes up with a big one right there.
And what did the Dolphins talk about? Jamming him at the line of scrimmage. This is not jamming him. You cannot give him a free release. You see Jones, there's just too much separation. That's a lot to ask of your strong safety. They talked about playing in and out coverage, a box and one on him, a bracket coverage. But you give him a free release, bad things happen.
Kelsey has had 4 100-yard games this season. He's also had a couple rushes. Here comes Kareem Hunt on 1st and 10. Big block right there, not much, no gain on the play. Sticks at the 40-yard line.
You look at Travis Kelsey, 3 catches, 41 yards, a touchdown. They do a terrific job moving him around, and especially down in this part of the field, they put him in the slot. And you see Alex Smith make a good throw right in the hole between the safety, the strong safety, and the free safety. Look at those numbers, 82 catches, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. No tight end has been targeted more this season in the National Football League than Travis Kelsey.
It's a 2nd down and 10 for Alex Smith. Look out, here they come from the side. Harris got him. Brings him down, back at the 43. Charles Harris from Kansas City went to nearby Lincoln Prep High School. Big time sack, loss of 3. Let's go to JB in New York.
Chargers added
That's right, Melvin ground game Gordon. He gets in for the 1-yard TD. That's how you bulldoze it into the end zone. The Chargers, they lead 14-7.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
Melvin Gordon's made a difference with that team, but will it be enough to get the Chargers in there, Rich?
It's a little bit like the situation in Kansas City. The more they give it to Melvin Gordon, the more it helps Phillip Rivers. Trust me.
West in the backfield, 3rd and 13. Smith is back.
Got Sue again.
There goes a flag. Here comes Harris. Kiko Alonso is on him, and he was stretching for the first down and got it. What a play by Demetrius Harris. 14-yard catch and run. Let's see what that flag says.
Well, it's going to be off. It's going to be neutral zone.
Offside. Yep. Defense number 93. That penalty is declined as a result of the play. Is a first down.
Rich, these Kansas City tight ends have been terrific today.
And Alex Smith has done a terrific job, Kevin, changing up his cadence. Just watch, you see Ndamukong Suh there. He gets caught in the neutral zone. He's not able to get back. They snap the football, and that really helps the offensive line when you continue to change up the cadence so that big defensive line can't get a jump on the ball.
Hunt in the backfield, outside they go. There's a block by Wilson. Here's a run after the catch by Hill. Brought down by Howard. Gain of 5 on the play, down to the Dolphin 23.
These first down perimeter throws are nothing more than power sweeps. It's another way to get the ball on the perimeter and into the hands of the speedy Tyreek Hill.
We saw a team like this in New Orleans last week. A lot of guys who can play a lot of positions, a lot of movement, a lot of things going on in offense.
A lot of misdirection, a lot of pre-snap movement, you're right.
2nd and 5, Kareem Hunt with the block, and there you see the tackle. Sue is on him, among others, a gain of 4. He's to the 19 of the Dolphins.
You mentioned, Kevin, the substitutions. You see players coming on and off the field, the different formations, the pre-snap movements and shifts and motions. As you look at the offensive coordinator there, Matt Nagy, does a terrific job. And it really makes it difficult on you as a defense to really get a bead in terms of what they're trying to do. It's about illusion. It's about disguise. It's about misdirection. And it happens so quickly. See the shift. You see the movement. You see the adjustment. I mean, there's a lot going on before the ball's actually snapped.
Best 3rd and 1 offense in pro football. Here comes Hunt. Sherman leading the way, and they got the first down. Jones around his ankle. Timmons on top. He'll be close to the first down. We think he's as far as the 18 where he had to get. They brought in also an extra lineman, Irving. Did he get it? I thought the spot was not that good, and I think they're short. Look at Jones with that tackle.
They're going to go for it, though. With a 10-point lead. Why not?
I think the spot was not very generous, Rich.
Well, sometimes it's really hard. You know, you get those big piles. You've got big bodies. It's hard to figure out sometimes where the ball actually is.
Play clock at 4, 4th and 1. And again, he didn't get it. Yes, he is. And I think Jones was the first to hit him coming off the edge. That'll get a defensive coordinator excited. And there you see the defensive mastermind of the Dolphins.
This is why Rashad Jones is going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, this is a great play. Not a good play, it's a great play. Great anticipation by the safety.
Matt Burke, the guy who organizes this defense, loves every second of it. So the Chiefs lose it on downs on a 4th and 1. They were in the red zone. They turn it over to the 19, 1st and 10 Cutler. Drake in the backfield. Blocked by Drake. Quick throw, slant, caught. Nice grab. Devontae Parker makes the grab. Almost a 10-yard gain. Let's see where they give it to him at the 29.
Let's go back and watch that great stop on 4th down. And there's a reason why Rashad Jones spent so much time down around the line of scrimmage. He's an instinctive player. He played all 3 levels of the defense, but that was a huge stop for the Dolphins.
The Drake on 1st and 10. We had the tackle right there made by linebacker Reggie Ragland. They got him in a trade with Buffalo, the Alabama Crimson Tide player. It is a gain of 4 by Drake, who tackles who was his teammate at Alabama, Kenyon Drake, who was a 3rd-round pick by Miami. One Bama player and another, Ragland and Drake, out to the 33. Second down and 6 for Jay Cutler. 13 of 20, 185 and a touchdown pass. Drake again. Good block by Derby.
Good looking effort.
Dig right there. Peters couldn't get him. Finally put down by Nelson and company. A hard-earned 7 yards and a first down to the 40.
There's a really good-looking run by Kenyon Drake. Watch the hit here, and then he just keeps the legs churning, keeps spinning. And then you see Marcus Peters in there. He's trying to strip the ball. He's trying to reach the arm in there and doesn't get the tackle. But a terrific effort by the young back.
Chiefs in the nickel. 1st and 10 Miami.
We're man-to-man across the board.
180! 180!
Blocked by Young, the right tackle. Incomplete. They were going for Stills, and the coverage on the play by Steven Nelson.
Well, Cutler not able to set his feet. They had to deal with Justin Houston coming off the edge. Pretty good coverage, though. Really not anywhere to go. Look at Justin Houston. That's what Cutler talked about in the meeting last night. He said, we're more concerned about handling Justin Houston than we are avoiding Marcus Peters in the secondary. We feel pretty good about our matchups there. We just got to make sure we handle the edge with Justin Houston.
Houston's got 9 sacks, surpassing his sack total from last year. 2nd and 10. Houston off into Young. There goes the throw, and wide open. They've got Kenny Stills. Hit by Peters, who steps him with the ball. And out of bounds the ball went, and they say it's Kansas City's. Peters has done it again. He will his fourth forced fumble of the season.
He is absolutely amazing. No one better than stripping the ball away than Marcus Peters.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Festive Kansas City. Chiefs have just gotten a second turnover from Miami.
Watch Marcus Peters come in, grab him with the left hand. He's so strong. You get these bigger corners. He's working the ball out with his right hand. If you're Kenny Stills and you get around 22, you have to protect the football. He's got that unique ability to get it on the ground.
Both those Miami turnovers have happened in Kansas City
great
territory.
Job with the hard count again.
Free play. Nope.
Well, they're going to blow it dead.
Yeah, they are.
Again, you just look at his ability to. He gets 3 right there. You get 3 defenders in the neutral zone with the hard count.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You see that in your film study and you write it down in your notebook. You say, mix in the hard count. They're good reminders. The offensive line, they'll get in the huddle and they'll say, hey, Alex, give me a hard one here. Give me a hard count here. And that takes the edge off of that rush. That slows down Cameron Wake. It slows down Ndamukong Suh.
Stills now has 4 fumbles this season. 2 of them lost. 1st and 5. Kareem Hunt with the gain down to the 46 of Miami. It's a pickup of 3. Hit by Alonso. Let's go to JB in New York.
Patriots capitalized on a pass interference.
That's right, JB. No James White, no Burkhead, no problem. Mike Gillislee gets in for the 1-yard TD. Former Bill going up against his former team. Pats lead 23-16.
Kevin, Rich, and Jenny.
Gillislee was pretty expensive. The Bills couldn't hold on to him. Now he's a Patriot.
The Patriots never use injuries as an excuse, Kevin. It's just always the next man up philosophy.
2nd down 2. Here comes Smith. Needs the 44. Has the first down. Hits the deck about the 40. And he had Rashad Jones taking aim at him. Gain of 5. Smith almost does as much damage, Rich, with his feet as he does with his arm.
Well, watch this. They don't do a good enough job setting the edge. You've got to be able to keep Alex Smith in the pocket, and they don't do that. And you open up the edge for him, he's just going to pull it down and run. He's so effective using his legs. He runs for a couple first downs every time out.
Hey, hey. Ice it on! On! Wide, AD! I shot.
With the 1st and 10, it goes to Hill. With a good read on him was McKean, but he slips away. Hill down the sideline. Alonso forces him out of bounds. With a run right there, he picks up 7 to the 34 of Miami.
Well, you got a free rusher, and he's right there. You just got to be able to make the tackle, and Bobby McCain swings and misses. And what did Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, tell us last night? He said, our best players can't have a few bad plays each week. And when no one is entitled to a missed assignment or a mental error, because then you got a total mess on your hands. And that's been one of the problems with this Miami defense. The best players in critical situations at times have come up short.
With a 2nd down and 3, here comes the back, Hunt. Alonso there, gain of 4. Also hit by Jordan Phillips. To the 30, 3rd quarter has come to a close. Chiefs with the win the division, up by 10 on CBS. There's the 2 head coaches, Andy Reid on the right, Adam Gase, 2nd season, who began as a grad assistant at LSU under then coach Nick Saban. Here is a 1st and 10. Kareem Hunt in the backfield gets the pitch. Fisher trying to give him a block, as is Witzman, and he's down to the 28-yard line. And brought down by Wake, gain of 2 to the 28 to Jenny Dell.
Kevin, even though they're down by 10, I can tell you from this sideline, the Miami Dolphins still are motivating each other. They're still being positive. Now you see a lot of the guys sitting on the bench. They're sitting there because it is very cold down here, guys. So don't think that that's taking away from their spirit of being involved into this game. They're still being super positive down here on the bench.
2nd down and 8.
Wide, AD! I shot.
In motion there, D'Anthony Thomas. Going deep, he's got his oh, what a try that time by Kelsey. That close, Torrey McTyer defending.
Boy, that's a throw that Alex Smith would love to have back. Again, watch his eyes, he's just late with his eyes. Almost a terrific catch there by Kelsey, just can't squeeze it. Great effort, but boy, a better throw there gets it done. Travis Kelsey was open. He had McTyer beat down the middle of the field.
I shot.
3rd and 8. West is in.
I shot.
And he goes to West outside. And he's got the 1st down and then some. Hits the pylon and out of bounds.
That might be a safety. Or a touchback, I'm sorry. That might be a touchback. That ball came loose. It's a question of did it go out?
Very end.
Well, it's a question of does the ball go through the end line or just go out of the bounds? You watch West. He beats the back, and you got to make sure to step out of bounds. He's in the playing. Now watch as he extends the ball. I think that's going to be a touchback.
25 yards.
Again, there's Rashad Jones. Question is, did the ball cross the goal line? Oh, they say he stepped out of bounds. Okay.
Out of bounds at the 3. Sherman is in. A lot of fullbacks, along with the extra blocker, Irving.
With the movement.
Smith. And incomplete. There was heavy pressure, Stephon Anthony was coming through. They traded with New Orleans to get him earlier in the season. Alonso was over there as well, covering. But the pressure was applied by Anthony on the quarterback. Smith rolling to the near side.
Smart play by Alex Smith. It wasn't there. He just threw it away. Anthony is the one that got beat on 3rd down. He had his eyes in the backfield. He got picked and wasn't able to get over top Charkandrick West. It's a big 3rd down conversion from the Chiefs to keep this drive alive.
Struggled in the red zone today. It's Hunt. Wake meets him about the 2. He pushes him down to near the 1 with a gain of 2. In the red zone today, the Chiefs 6 times. 1 loss on downs, 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals. With a flag.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay the down.
That's Zach Fulton, who has started at left guard, center, and right guard this season, taking the place of Morris at the center today.
You see him right in the middle of your screen there, and he's in good position, but then he gets that right arm out there and just grabs a hold of Ndamukong Suh. They've run the football a lot better since Fulton moved over from left guard to center. He's a bigger body in there.
Kareem Hunt, by the way, today has rushed for 79 yards on 21 carries. Smith 20 of 33 with a touchdown. Second down and goal at the 13. It's Hunt.
Get up.
He sure can. He bounces back up and he gets to the 11. Where he's met by a couple, including T.J. McDonald on a gain of 2.
Well, they really make you defend the entire field, don't they? Not just vertically, but horizontally. They stretch you out. They spread you out wide. They move people around. All in an effort to get their best players in space with the ball. Guys like Kareem Hunt.
Third and goal at the 11. West is in. Here they come once again. Smith on the move. Belted on the play by Jones. Incomplete. They were going for West in the corner. And the coverage on the play by Timmons.
And Alex Smith wanted more. He needed somebody to uncover. You see him get outside the pocket. He's got his eyes down the field. Now somebody's got to separate. Charkandrick West didn't do a very good job there coming back to the quarterback. Talk about that scramble drill, the importance of it. Once the quarterback gets outside the pocket, you have to take a friendly angle back down the boundary.
You see where Butker has been successful from today. This from 29 to give the Chiefs their biggest lead today. Up and through 26-13. But the Chiefs had it first and goal at the 3. They settle for a field goal. We're early in the 4th. So the Chiefs have gone up by their largest margin today, 26-13. If they win or a Jets win over the Chargers, they've got the division. Second consecutive division title. Red zone rich today for the Chiefs. 7 possessions, 2 touchdowns, 4 field goals, and a loss on down.
Well, it's been a problem all season for them. They're just 28th in red zone offense. They convert about 45% of the time. They settle for far too many field goals in that part of the field.
So Harrison Butker with a 31, 32, 21-yard, and 29-yard field goal to put the Chiefs up 26-13. They've also had a touchdown run of a yard by Hunt. 9-yard touchdown reception by the tight end Kelsey. And a little pooch shot here.
Oh, they're going for it.
They sure are.
Oh, that was
and
close.
Gobbled up on the play by Sonoris Perry.
There was a big gap.
Friday and Saturday, CBS features the top teams in the country in college basketball. 7th-ranked Kentucky, 4th-ranked Duke, the #1 team in the country, Villanova. 2 days of outstanding basketball on CBS. Player down is the former quarterback at Minnesota, Marquise Gray, who has played for Cleveland and the Dolphins. He's a tight end for Miami.
He does a lot of different things for the Dolphins. Great special teams player, can play a number of positions in their offense.
Injury timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about. And by Acura Season Up Performance Event.
Dolphins take over at the 29. 5 in the Kansas City secondary. 1st and 10 for Jay Cutler. And he'll sling one, caught by Landry. Revis on his tail, brought down on the play in the secondary after 21-yard catch and run by Ron Parker. And they take the ball to midfield, 1st down.
A good-looking route by Jarvis Landry and a terrific throw by Jay Cutler, working on the veteran Darrelle Revis. He's getting more comfortable playing down close to the line of scrimmage. Doesn't have the speed, but still one of the best disruptors of receivers in our league when he gets his hands on them at the line of scrimmage.
180! 180!
Cutler with the 1st and 10, the fake to Drake. And going deep, and it is caught! Parker, what a grab, doubled on the play. Peters along with Parker there, 35-yard completion. Down to the 15 of Kansas City, 1st down.
What a great throw under duress by Cutler. He's going to throw this one up to Devontae Parker. Watch Parker go up and get it over Marcus Peters and the safety. Parker, what great effort by Devontae Parker.
Parker's got that bad ankle, kept him out of a lot of practices this past week down in South Florida. 1st and 10 from the Kansas City 16. It's Drake. Go ahead here for a couple yards with a stop by Ragland, gain of 1.
You look at Cutler today, all 16 of his completions have been to the wide receivers without tight end Julius Thomas, who went on IR earlier this week. So they haven't been able to get the tight ends or the running backs involved in the passing games. It's been exclusively the wide receiver position.
2nd down and 9. Drake at the side of Cutler. Into the nickel. Looking for Derby in the coverage there by Marcus Peters.
That's not a good matchup. You got AJ. You got AJ Derby on Marcus Peters.
Late flag thrown right in the middle of the field. Brad Allen, 2 of the officials on this crew have previously worked
After
the
the
Super
play was
Bowl.
over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 62, offense. 15-yard penalty, the down counts. 3rd down.
Ted Larson, the 3rd different left guard, his 7th start today of the season, came off IR in early November. Called right there, the veteran making it 3rd and 24, back at the 30 of the Chiefs for Miami.
There's the mental errors you talk about. You just watch it right in the middle of your screen. He's going to take Jones to the ground and then jump on top of him. Give him the business, as they say. When he's on the ground, you can't give him the business.
Pistol on 3rd and 24. High for Grant, incomplete. Allen took off on him.
Well, the Chiefs saw that play a couple times today. It's the one that Jakeem Grant took for a touchdown earlier, 65 yards. A little bubble screen.
Well, Miami today, Rich, is 0-6 on 3rd down. So Chiefs defense has played that well, and they bring their field goal unit out there. Cody Parkey.
Well, he's hit 30 straight from inside 40.
Here's a 48-yard try.
It's so good this year for the Dolphins.
Wind going sideways. Parkey does not get it. From 48, wide left. 9:59 to go. Chiefs lead by 13. Parkey with only his 2nd miss all season.
Well, the Chiefs know how to take the air out of the ball late with the lead. 562 4th-quarter rushing yards. Only Jacksonville has more this season.
Hunt on 1st and 10. Kelsey a block. Fisher a block. And jumping on his back is Malveaux. Gain of 5 out to the Kansas City 43.
And I mentioned those 562 4th-quarter rushing yards. Kareem Hunt has 460 of them, Kevin. So they know how to finish teams off late by pounding the football.
Seems like, Rich, all the good teams in the NFL have got at least one back that can do a lot. We know that Fournette does it at Jacksonville, and Bell in Pittsburgh, and here it is Kareem Hunt, 2nd down and 5. Hunt again. Another block by Kelsey. Out to the 45. He picks up 2. Hunt now has gone up to 86 yards on the ground.
He's in Nice day, 23 carries, and that's up in that number we talked about. A nice respectable number, 24-25 a game is what he's had the last couple of weeks. 86 rushing yards. He had the long of 24, a touchdown. And what I think he's gotten better, Kevin, over the course of the season is in the passing game. He's done a better job protecting for Alex Smith, much better job running routes. He's got good soft hands. He is a complete back that can do it all.
He's got 4 catches today, 3rd down and 3. And across the middle, they've got Harris. And he's got the first down at midfield. Brought down by Jones, picks up 6 on 3rd and 3. And the Chiefs tight end, they're going to mark him at the 49-yard line of Miami.
You get so worried about Travis Kelce that you lose sight of the other tight end, Demetrius Harris, and he's a big guy too. You look at, he's 6'7", 230 pounds. That's a huge target in the middle of the field for Alex Smith.
So Harris makes his third down reception today. 8 receptions by the Kansas City tight ends. Smith 22 of 36, 1st and 10. Up, somebody moved. And it looked like Brian Witzman.
Up the left guard. It's a little antsy. I can see why. He's trying to block a Ndamukong Suh.
Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Dolphins come into today 6-8, 2-5 on the road. They've lost 4 straight road games. Team that made the playoffs last year, Rich, the Dolphins did, with a record of 10-6 in Gase's first year.
And think about how they won those 10 games. They won so many, at least a half dozen, Kevin, late games coming from behind. Just haven't been able to do that so far this season.
1st and 15, Kareem Hunt. To the linebacking core, gain of 3 up near the 49-yard line. Hit by Wake and Kiko Alonso.
Good look at Cameron Wake, 90.5 career sacks. I think he's one of the best undrafted pass rushers in NFL history. In fact,
yes, he is.
Only Hall of Famer John Randall, a former teammate of mine, has more sacks by an undrafted player. Randall had 137.5.
What was so impressive about Wake last year, coming off that Achilles injury in 2015, Rich came back last year to have 11 sacks. He's got 9 right now. 2nd down and 12. Hunt. And they try to push him down a little bit further. It looked like Jordan Phillips was riding him good. Gain of 4, 47-yard line of the Dolphins.
The thing I like about Kareem Hunt, he always seems to be falling forward at the end of runs. Those big shoulders, powerful lower body. Keeps those legs churning.
Yeah, he does. He's had 6 100-yard games, Rich. He's got 93 yards right now.
They're perfect 6-0 when he rushes for 100 yards. Think about that. How important that number is for this Kansas City offense.
West is in now, 3rd and 8.
You can see the pressure coming. You see he's going to change it, kick the ball out quick. See it?
Oh, great call, Rich, and it's caught by Wilson. Kelce with the block, and look at where they get. They get a 1st down on a play he had to change. On 3rd and 8, they pick up 12. Wilson, the catch and run. Kelce led the way. They take it down to the 36-yard line, 35-yard line of Miami.
This is good quarterback play. He sees the internal pressure coming, so what does he do? He audibles to the quick screen. You see the receiver out in front, Travis Kelce, gets a big block, and that's just an easy throw and catch for Alex Smith.
Well, you read that one well.
But it starts with recognition. It starts with seeing the issue that they had. They had to run inside. He changes it to a quick screen. That's just the experience that you get and the know-how from Alex Smith.
5th different receiver to catch one on 3rd down. 1st and 10, Kareem Hunt back in and staggers ahead and picks up 3 as he was taken down on the play by Fede. Terrence Fede.
The Chiefs ask Alex Smith to do a lot. And, you know, Andy Reid told us on Friday it's the best season he's had the 5 years with the Chiefs. He's having fun once again. He's got a lot of say in the offense and the game plan each week. The thing I love about him, he doesn't listen to the outside noise and criticism. Remember when they lost 5 in a row and 6 of 7? This guy didn't panic. He was playing great football. Just came to work every day. Great leader. That's what you want at the quarterback position.
2nd down and 7. Hunt. Oh, met Back to the line of scrimmage. Big hit by Rashad Jones. Loss of 2. Back to the 34.
Well, Rashad Jones isn't a good player. He is a great player. And that's why he's going to another Pro Bowl. Watch him come screaming in off the corner. I mean, he just makes so many plays for the Dolphins, either at or around the line of scrimmage. A lot of tackles for losses from that safety.
Chiefs have got a 5+ minute drive going right now. Coming up, the State Farm postgame show from New York. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for scores, news, and highlights. Next, the State Farm postgame show here on CBS.
You know, I look at this coaching staff in Kansas City. They stayed positive during that losing streak that we were talking about, Kevin. That made such a difference. You know, when something like that happens, you can't allow that catastrophic thinking to creep in. You know, the psyche can be so fragile for players and coaches alike. And they remained confident during that adversity.
Dolphins take a timeout. 3rd and 9. West in the backfield and Smith on the money. Caught by Hill, no place to go. Howard, yes, he sure did. Howard, and then finished off by Alonzo. Just a gain of 3. They get to the 31, well shy of the first. And the Chiefs with the clock continuing to tick at 4:15. Let's see what they do here on 4th down. Here comes the field goal unit once again. Wind has been hard to figure out here at Arrowhead today. It has been a crosswind seems like from the left to the right and kind of sideways, and it's a 49-yarder, so he'll contend with that. Harrison Butker.
Well, this kid's been so good this year.
Hit the upright, ricochets in. That is what kind of day it's been for the Chiefs, up 29-13. That'll bring a smile to your face.
Early Christmas gift.
Early present indeed, you're right. They took 6 minutes off the clock and they get the 49-yard ricochet off the upright to tack on 3 more.
Good snap, good hold. He gets a little help. A little bit of unexpected good fortune for Harrison Butker. Look at Andy Reid, he loves it.
So he's kicked field goals of 31, 32, 21, 29, and 49 yards today. And the Chiefs are eye to eye with their 2nd consecutive AFC West division title. First time in 58 years, the longest span of any team to go that long without consecutive division titles. Chiefs getting it for the first time in their 58-year history. Here's the kick. Grant driven back and waves it off. He'll go to a knee to the 25 and a touchback. Next Sunday, it's the final games of the regular season on the final day of the year. It could be do or die for some, depending on what happens today. Ring in the new year with a great doubleheader. And join JB, Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer for complete playoff pictures on the NFL Today, 12 Eastern on CBS.
Are the Browns going to win a game this year, Kevin? They're losing right now 20
to Chicago.
To Chicago,
right?
20-3.
Chicago.
They've got Pittsburgh next week. I don't know how, you know, if you're the Browns and Hugh Jackson wins 1 game in 2 years, how you can have him back as your coach in year 3. I don't quite understand that. The owner, Jimmy Haslam, has already said he's going to be the coach in 2018.
Well, they have a new general manager, the former guy here in Kansas City, John Dorsey. He built this team. 1st and 10, Cutler.
Got a false start.
Yep.
False starts. Offense number 79. It's a 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Rich, there's Gase. This has been, we mentioned this a couple times early on, obviously. At 6-8, a very inconsistent season for the Miami Dolphins. As one South Florida columnist put it, how do we make sense of a team that doesn't make any sense? There's a lot of talent on that roster.
It really is, and you know, they've got some high-priced players that maybe haven't lived up to their salary. I mean, it's been a disappointing season for Miami and Adam Gase after winning 10 games in his first season with Miami. He had a lot of work to do this offseason.
Cutler 1st and 15. And a drop right there by Landry with the coverage on the play by Sorensen.
You know, when your best players have up and down performances and kind of inconsistent seasons, that makes it tough on a football team. And that, your best players have to, you know, play their best week in and week out. The difference between going 10-6 and 6-10 in this league isn't very much. And you know, what a difference a year makes. They were so good late in games. They were so good coming from behind. It just hasn't been the story this season for Miami.
2nd down, 15, Cutler. That's on the move and caught by Stills, who tumbles after a Revis coverage at the 36. It is a first down by a yard. He picks up 16 on 2nd down and 15 for Miami. Cutler inside. That's caught right there by Parker. He picks up 5. He's up to the 41 of Miami. Dolphins offense came in number 28. Chiefs defense number 28. But 14th in points allowed. 2nd down and 5. Cutler broken up and dropped at the same time. Peters jumped in front of the receiver Parker, but that may have been a drop anyway.
You have to see throws when you throw the ball in the direction of Marcus Peters. He does a terrific job with his eyes. He'll take chances, he'll jump certain routes. He plays with his eyes in the backfield a lot from off coverage, trying to read the quarterback's eyes. He's got 19 interceptions since 2015, which are the most in the National Football League. Better make sure you see this guy when you try and throw it in his direction.
He's got 5 picks this year, number 5 in the league. Miami 0-6 on 3rd down. 3rd and 5 for Jay Cutler. Here comes Jones. There goes the pass. And caught on the play with a flag thrown. It looks like Stills had it, but it was against him.
Interference.
Yep, he was shoving on the play. Penalty on Miami. Wipe it away.
And that's how Cutler fit this one in. Stills is going to push Marcus Peters.
Offense, number 10. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 3rd down.
He just gives him a little nudge with his left arm, just enough to create some separation. Well, it's been a rough day for Kenny Stills. Had that penalty, he's had the fumble. Those fumbles early were big. You know, Jarvis Landry had the fumble in the first half. Kenny Stills had the one in the second half. And Kevin, that's really been the difference. You know, a couple turnovers. Kansas City's been able to capitalize, and that's why Kansas City will win 3 in a row here at Arrowhead, because they've done a terrific job defensively taking the football away. 9 takeaways in their last 3 games.
3rd down, 15. Cutler moves up, throws on the run, undershoots his receiver. That is Grant with the coverage by the safety Sorensen. 4th and 15. Offense will stay out there, obviously, with 2.5 to go as Adam Gase takes a look at his script.
Not a lot of plays to call on that script at 4th and 15. You know what I mean?
What a season,
Rich. Creative.
They began 4-2. There's a lot of hope for this team. They got Cutler, who's playing okay, and after that
then they went on that sabbatical.
Yeah, 5 straight losses.
Lost 5 in a row. You know, good teams don't lose 2 in a row, let alone 5 in a row.
Well, the Chiefs had a 4-game losing streak themselves. 4th and 15. Cutler with time, slings one, almost picked off.
That's bad.
Derek Johnson just about had it.
He'll hear about that tomorrow in the film room. Just watch this. This hits him in a bad spot. Watch this. This is Derek Johnson. Watch where this hits him. That's a bad spot. Right in the hands. Catch the ball.
Chiefs will take over.
Now he's doing push-ups. You see him?
That's right.
He's been a great pro for a long time. He's had to come back from numerous injuries. Look at Andy Reid. Get down there and get some push-ups. Isn't that great to see? These guys are having lots of fun.
He's a 13-year veteran.
Yeah, he's one of Carl Peterson's last draft picks. 1st-round draft pick out of Texas. Played a lot of good football for the Chiefs.
All-time Chiefs leading tackler. They take over on downs at the 31 of Miami, 1st and 10. Here comes Hunt. He needs 6 yards for 100. He's down with a gain of a yard. And he gets to the 30-yard line and hit on the play by linebacker, rookie free agent Chase Allen out of Southern Illinois. Timeout, Miami.
Well, I know it's been a frustrating year for Adam Gase, but you just get the sense, Kevin, we sat down and visited with him last night, he's going to get it fixed. I mean, he's going to get Ryan Tannehill back early in the offseason. He's progressing nicely. It's been a good, I don't want to say it's been a good year for him. It's been a learning year for him. I think it's good that he's had a chance to step away and watch someone else. Watch Jay Cutler prepare.
Why was that?
Well, I think Cutler's a veteran guy. He's had success in this league at points. And I think it's a chance for him to maybe see how else to manage a team and how else to manage an offense. And learn maybe through watching someone else make mistakes.
3 tight ends, 2nd down, 9 Hunt. Stuffed. No place to run, no place to hide. Initially stopped by Malveaux. Loss of 5 back to the 34. Now he's down to 90 yards on the day.
They waited a while to call that timeout.
Yep, they called
waited
now.
about 5 seconds.
They are out of timeouts now. Chiefs are just a couple minutes away from their 9th win. Coming up on the State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for scores and news and highlights. All coming up in the State Farm postgame show. Hunt was the 3rd-round pick out of Toledo. He's going to the Pro Bowl. He's the 2nd leading rusher in the NFL with over 1,200 yards. He's closing in on his 7th 100-yard game, although he loses yardage there. He's back down to 91. But when you take a look, as we mentioned before, Todd Gurley with the Rams and Bell with Pittsburgh and just on, all these teams that are making a mark, they do it by committee in Philadelphia. It has made a big difference to have a 1,000-yard rusher back there for Alex Smith.
Yeah, not a lot of negative runs when you study Kareem Hunt's tape, and the thing I love about him, he's a finisher. He knows what to do late in games with the football. Got to be able to run the football in November and December here in Kansas City.
3rd and 13. Underneath is Kelsey. Went over 1,000 yards earlier with his 2nd consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season. It's a gain of 6. They're shy of the 1st. On downs, the Chiefs will send out Butker. It's 4th down. They'll try for 3 here on CBS at the 2-minute warning.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager. And by Bud Light, brewed to be enjoyed responsibly.
Happy holidays!
That's a look at our CBS crew over at the Independence Center, along with some children with Santa yesterday. Here is a 46-yard field goal try. It is short.
Like he stubbed his toe. He didn't hit that one cleanly.
So Butker misses from 46 on the previous try. From 49 got it, but it kicked off the upright and ricocheted in.
Well, what happened, the holder, the punter, Dustin Colquitt, he didn't get it down cleanly. A little bit of a high snap, and he struggled to get it on the ground. Ball was moving just before he kicked it. You see Andy Reid over there trying to figure out what happened.
Leave nothing to chance. Attention to detail. At one time this season, Butker had hit 23 consecutive field goals. That's his first miss today. 1:55 to go. Miami's out of timeouts. Cutler on 1st and 10. He goes underneath. Ball jarred free. Big hit. Logan vacuums it in. The hit by Kevin Pierre-Louis. If indeed, they're going to call it incomplete.
I don't know that he had it.
Yep.
He didn't have it long enough, or did he catch it cleanly? I think the ball's moving right before contact. Watch. As he tries to catch it, he turns his eyes quickly to see what's in front of him.
It was moving.
Yep, and that ball came out before he had possession of it. He knew it was in front of him. He knew that Pierre-Louis, the linebacker, was waiting on him.
Cutler with a 2nd down and 10, 18 of 33, 275 with a touchdown. There was a long 65-yard catch and run by Grant earlier. He goes here to his tight end, Derby, who is rustled down by Sorensen. They pick up 11. They get the 1st down on the 2nd down and 10. They're at their own 47-yard line. No timeouts, Miami. 1 for the Chiefs. The clock continues to tick. Coming up the middle and out of bounds, or out to the side it goes. Derby was on the numbers, as you see. The ball goes outside. So the Chiefs have seen the Chargers win today against the Jets. If the Chiefs win this, and all indications pointing in that direction, certainly, They'll win the division. They've beaten the Chargers twice, including last week 30-13 here on Saturday. They'll win the division for a second consecutive year, the first time in the 58-year history of the organization. Second down and 10. And Cutler throws high and incomplete for Drake, with Revis in the vicinity covering for the Chiefs. Got questions about the backup quarterback at Miami next year, too. If Moore, who's a free agent, leaves and Cutler doesn't come back, who's going to back up Tannehill?
Well, they've got David Fales.
They have David Fales, who's the backup today, third-year quarterback out of San Jose State, who's thrown a single pass all season. Third down and 10. Moving up is Cutler, and downfield he looks for Devontae Parker with the coverage by Peters.
Cutler's pass intended for Devontae Parker. He was covered by Marcus Peters.
Landry today has caught 5 for 51, and that puts him almost at 900 yards this season. He's had 2 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He'll try to get to 1,000 with a game next week against the Buffalo Bills. Fourth and 10. They need the Kansas City 43. Dime secondary. Cutler and incomplete. Chiefs will take over. Miami's got no timeouts, and the Chiefs have just won the AFC West for a second consecutive year.
First and 10 Chiefs in the Miami 47.
Matt Nagy. And Rich, you think Nagy is going to be zeroed in by some teams looking for a head coach?
I think teams will have real interest in bringing Matt Nagy in to visit with him, particularly teams, Kevin, have a young quarterback that they want to develop. I think he's a terrific play caller, very innovative.
He feels like a head coach, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just got that presence and that poise and natural leadership skills. As a really good college quarterback at the University of Delaware. Fighting Blue Hen. Proud of him.
The defense of Miami allowed only one 300-yard passer coming into today. That was week 1, Phillip Rivers. And today, Smith has 304 through the air. And that's the way it looks right there. The Chiefs in the playoffs. They've won the division. They play next week in Denver. They're 9-6. And they are headed for the playoffs again, and a division title is theirs. 46th year of football here at Arrowhead. 58th year of Chiefs football. And they have their second consecutive division crown. Over 400 yards of Kansas City offense. 37 minutes time of possession. And the Chiefs' 9th game on offense this season without committing a turnover. That is an NFL best. Hunt finishes with 91. We hope you enjoy your Christmas and holiday season. For Rich Gannon and Jenny Dell, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Kansas City. The AFC West Division champion Chiefs beat the Miami Dolphins, eliminated from the playoffs today. 29-13 the final. Coming up, the State Farm postgame show. We take you to New York after that. This is coming up next on CBS.